Hello, dog. Okay, guys. Yes, welcome to this session. Let me open up my little calendar. Actually, I don't need to open up the calendar. Last week was no. I don't think so. Yeah, well, I know what you guys were up to last week. Um, Ember threw a magnificent party for the locals, for the Sparks of Emon, as they have claimed the name of, for the Knights. Oh, that's the wrong campaign. For the Auora Concordant. Um, a huge party was had where a absolute masterful menu was composed for the consumption of dragon meat. When do you get to eat dragon meat? Almost never. This may be the very last time and the first time anyone in that tavern ever gets to eat dragon meat. And it was chef's kiss. It went off incredibly. I think everyone is going to know the rousing spark across Amon going forward. Maybe there might be some competition for that other tavern that I don't remember the name of presently. That is supposedly the most famous one in Tal'Dorei. It's got competition. Um, yeah, but not more importantly, but perhaps additionally importantly, an invitation was received and accepted by Lady Kima Ford and her wife, Arcanist Auora Soren, who attended the event. Got to know all of you and say her hello. She tried to keep it not too formal, not too businessy, and tried to just sort of like get to know all of you, and you all got to know her. Hopefully, I did her justice in the playing of that NPC. Yeah, she seemed interested to see all of you. I think she was a little off-put to have awkwardly seen Grimhelm there, as he began to start to speak about his. He goes, "Oh, have you read my doctrine on the ethics of necromancy yet?" And she's like, "Oh, yes, I've read it maybe a couple times." You're also muted, just so you know, Alex. Cool. But yes, talk to all of you talk to some other friends, and then the next day you made your way up to Cloudwatch Palace to seal the deal, and oh, I could not, of course, forget that Yvaine had a little starlight date with a certain pirate that apparently went very well for many reasons. A star map completed, and yeah, other stuff. And the next day, you guys all made your way up to Cloudwatch Palace to meet with Arcanist Auora Visor in a more official capacity. She offered you all patronage on behalf of the Tal'Dorei Council as your sort of contact through there, your representative, if you will. You all were given many benefits, and as I have posted before, you may go ahead and reread the contract, if you will. It should function as both your proof of employment and remind you of the benefits that you can take. I've also made sure to add a handout to the documents section in the actual Roll20, so if you ever want to regard that again, it should be in there. And the only stipulations that you had, which of course are not in the contract, but Auora gave her word to, you wanted to be able to make contact with Nero in the Arcana Philosophical, and she said she would do everything she could, assuring you that she would be miraculously surprised if anything malicious was going on. But she will get you all in contact. That is what her promise was. The second stipulation was you wanted to be free to hold your own values, especially regarding the interests in the Riffin-Mist Peninsula, which Auora said, absolutely, you're more than welcome to hold your own political opinions. This is in no way, you are in no way bent to follow her own opinions, whatever they may be. And lastly, you are, of course, allowed to step away from your employment with due notice whenever you please. Two other events, one more shocking than the other. So we'll deal with that one first. Vivian Yvaine goes, here is arcane dynamite, thank you very much, to the absolute blindsiding shock of Auora by Soren as she accepted the astral scroll. and assured that that will find its way to a safe place. And was a little lost for words, but nonetheless thanked Yvaine for passing that along. Maybe we'll revisit the subject when she's like taking her inhaler. The last thing is you have been given your first job, which I will reintroduce to you all in full, just so that you know what it is that you're getting yourselves up to. All right, Emon. Take me to the city of Felicia. Oh shit, that's not it. Here it is. Nope, that's not it either. Come on, man. Sorry, folks, one moment. Here it is. So, Auora Concordant has told you about a Jomen Tash, a half-elven mage of the Arcana Panosophical. He claims to have obtained the pages of the Lost Van Etro journal. Now, it's been explained who Van Etro was. Van Etro was an archaeologist and an anthropologist and an explorer extraordinaire. And had many adventures, but most relevant, Von Etro, around the end of her life, went mad from delving into subterranean territory that gave her visions of a place known as the Ruins of Salar. And she filled her journal with them, of mad scribblings of this place. They were once in possession of the Arcana Panosophical in their vaults and lost somehow. Many black market forgeries have been passed around, but she believes Jomen Tash to be an earnest individual and thus worth investigating. And that is to be your first task, to investigate, see if these are authentic pages, see where it leads, do what you think is best, and discover the truth. You have been assured that Jomen Tash will meet you the following morning at the Rousing Spark, as you have asked to. You said you're ready, so the following day, Jomen Tash will be available to speak to you all. And as you exit the Arcanist's office, that is where we pick up the sessions. You all find yourself in the Cloudwatch Palace. What is it that the Auora Concordant of the Tal'Dorei Council would like to do?
So I have a question.
Yes.
Are we're in the palace, but we're done with Auora. She's no longer there.
Yes. You have all exited her office, and you've seen her many scribes sort of file back into her large workspace.
Cool. Hey Finch, do you always have your truth spell, or is that something you have to think about in the morning before you have it?
It is something that I have to think about, but I usually don't. It's something that I like to have on me, so we're good. It's proven beneficial for us, so I don't see the need to not be thinking on it.
Probably should have had you interrogate me in there. It would have more than likely given her peace of mind.
Oh.
Until then, next time we're in her audience, God, I can't even speak right now. Will you help me to remember, if nothing else, whatever testimony I was to give in there, she'll know that I believe it to be true.
Correct.
It'll be important for her to verify that I'm not corrupted. It's a worthwhile thought.
Agreed.
I hadn't considered that when I dumped that on her. Sorry, guys.
I don't think that concern is there. So we shall see. But yeah.
There's many people walking around. It is the middle of the workday. There is plenty of delegates and politicians and councillors walking here and there amongst the palace. And the lawn is yours. Do what you go.
Up here.
Before we leave, can Yvaine take a moment to, like, I don't know, appreciate a tapestry? Pay attention? There's so
Yes,
much
of
art in this
course.
place. It's only this.
Absolutely. There's beautiful art hanging from the walls. I'll say, as your party is wandering around, you catch a rather magnificent painting of the last sovereign of Tal'Dorei. You see Uriel Tal'Dorei, King Uriel, or sorry, Sovereign Uriel Tal'Dorei, dark skin, graying hair, bald, but a regal look to him, well endowed in the kingly things that you would expect of a sovereign. He looks quite well regarded in the painting. It's remarkably well done. And he looks down at you with um, um, concerning but fair eyes.
So I'm actually a lot more interested in the people having the conversations, if that makes sense.
Okay,
Observing the art was what
yeah,
she'd like to look like she's doing.
understood. Got it. So never mind that. And I can absolutely sort of listen around. You want to hear about politics. It is also worth remembering that you have all been given free reign to wander about the palace, go here and there. Um, so like you're not allowed to like barge. Use your good judgment. Use your good judgment. That's all I'll say. Use your good judgment. Um, you work at the White House. Maybe don't walk in the Oval Office. Uh, so yeah. Okay, politics. Make me a little insight or investigation check as your choice.
We'll be using insight, thank you.
Alrighty then.
23.
23. Let's see. What is the hubbub right now? Okay. You'll hear them begin to. So people speaking and talking in the hallowed halls. You see some people kind of having like a tea, just like an afternoon tea off by a window, gabbing. A couple of delegates, and he says they're speaking to one another. These two individuals, and they say, "Oh, indeed, it's she's been rather on a rampage, hasn't she?" He says, "Well." I'm sure we would be beholden to such a rampage that we should consider her to be under good temperament. And he goes, of course, of course. Says, well, regardless, the coin mistress seems rather frantic lately about the commitments to the League of Miracles. And he goes, yes, indeed, of course. Her financial savvy is most incredible, but it is terribly unfortunate, all of the things happening with the wall. What's going? Do you know what the Master of Defense is? Is he still interested in knocking down the walls? Because indeed, Master Tofar is indeed very interested in taking down the walls to unite Emon from the sort of deleting the lower class, which Lady Vixalia just simply is seemingly not able to be able to help with. The poor must remain poor, unfortunately, until. So if perhaps, yeah. And they kind of gather about that. But basically, what you gather is that another element to this whole knocking down the walls thing that's being talked about a lot is that the coin mistress is having issues trying to find the financial means to support the lower class outside the city walls, which has perhaps encouraged the idea to knock down the walls. Not intentionally by the sounds of it, but it's been a catalyst for sure.
Right, thank you.
There you go. There's your rumors. Fantastic. Is there anything else anyone would like to do in Cloud Watch Palace?
Yeah, I would like to bump into Yvaine while she's doing all of this.
Maybe that's why it ends. Goes, oh, and but perhaps the coin mistress might even, and then Yvaine, you get a little shoulder bump.
Very, very clumsily, yeah. And in Undercommon, I'll say, "Can I go?"
Mom. You're muted, Yvaine. You're muted.
Can you hear me currently?
As she
Yes.
tumbles,
Thank
she'll
goodness.
try to just like continue on so that they are not drawn to somebody listening to them as opposed to somebody stumbling near them. You know what I'm saying?
I think the very clumsy hobgoblin sort of bumping you in the shoulder nearby, they're like being like towards
Oh, I mean, no.
you. They're like, oh.
In other words, she's going to start walking as soon as he bumps her.
And
Yeah,
also
you-
very horrible looking, by the way.
Yeah, this like mangled hobgoblin, this like burned mangled hobgoblin, like falls into you and then is like, and you're like, okay, let's get and you kind of move along. But certainly anyone in the 10 to 20 foot vicinity is like, oh, my, what have you?
You know, because Yvaine, of course, is looking like a snack at the moment. You know, she's on her navy blue and white, and
Right, looking very exotic.
yeah. So as they continue, she'll say, "You know, you
don't
can
see
fuss
many
about me. I know how to get home."
hobgoblins in the palace. It's quite interesting.
She'll keep walking.
Okay.
So like,
Really, she's just
like
not even
she'll
gonna
say what she has to
answer
say, but she's gonna like walk back to Finch and be like, "All right, I suppose we're going now, yeah."
How rude.
We can come back, but yes.
I got a quick question because I don't have geography in my head.
No problem.
The Panasophical's headquarters, is it here at the palace or is it adjacent to?
Nobody really knows where the Panasophical sort of locations or headquarters are. They're a very secretive organization. They're more of like a club than like a based group. So like you couldn't ask an arcane Panasophical member like, hey, where can I go and meet all your friends? They'd be like, join the club.
Okay, so apparently I'm going to have to ask for Bureau's parole warden.
Okay.
And I might as well ask here.
Heroes parole work, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Gold Dragonborn. There can't be that many of them.
All right, fair enough. You're gonna ask for parole boy. Yeah, if you want to head down to like the sort of I guess help center, they say yes. How might I help you?
I'm looking to get in touch with a gentleman who is taken over the care and warding of a friend. He's kind of an older, lean, gold colored dragonborn, whose name is going to escape me because I don't have Roll20 open. Or I can hand down the list of NPCs to find him. Begins with a T, I
Benson,
think.
something or other.
Yes. It is also worth noting that I'm working on them right now, but they do have tags on them. So if you wanted to type in like Arcana Panasophical, he'll pop up too. But anyway,
Okay.
his name is Thansin Nargul.
Yes, that's a narble.
He goes, Thansin Nargul. I can send some runners out to see if he's in attendance here at the palace. I admit I myself am not familiar.
That would be lovely if you could.
Very well, sir. And she does speak to one of the sort of nearby attendants of the palace, and they'll begin to move about to try and circulate and find this individual. She'll say this. It should take a couple of minutes. It's a large palace, but
I'm in
soon.
no hurry.
Very well. Fantastic. No, they are not. As far as you know, Dragonborn are not morally fixed to their color. That is true. Yeah, why don't you roll me a little history check there, Z Hobbs? You
16.
16. You are aware that, yeah, like color doesn't really matter amongst the dragonborn culture. What does or has previously mattered is whether they have a tail or no tail. Individuals that do not have a tail are known as Ravenites, and were generally considered like less than other dragons. Like I guess their dragon blood is like not as strong as those with tails, who are known as Draconians. But this has largely begun to sort like it still exists a little bit within Dragonborn culture, but since the fall of Draconia during the Chroma Enclave, the distinction is kind of whittled away a little bit, but it's still there. The color doesn't seem to matter too much.
All right, great. Thank you.
Cool. Is there anything anyone wants to do while you guys are waiting to see if the Dragonborn is present?
Glint has one little project to poke at, which is the Mirror of Infinite Transpondence, I believe.
Hell yeah, let's, what would you like to do? You want to turn it on?
Yeah, so the plan here, to be, a little bit paranoid would be to get a couple blankets and basically set up a little tent in one of the rooms so there's no real visibility beyond the tent. Just like a really sad campsite, like Glint's still playing pillow forts before
Okay.
getting the mirror all set up and ready.
Got it. Okay. Mirror infinite transpondence. Okay, let me see here. It's very interesting. Excellent. Okay, you turn it on,
Yeah.
and let's see. As you turn it on, you hear singing. You hear beautiful, beautiful singing, though. This is, I believe, it is a feminine voice. The words are in Elvish, which is not terribly uncommon. Elvish is a very elegant language. Many bards use it. But there's singing in Elvish. Do you understand the Elvish tongue?
Let me double check actually. I do not. If I recognize it's an Elvish, I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to ritual cast comprehend languages. So yeah, no, Glint just does not understand what is being sung.
I will
Yeah.
also put it out there. This isn't like performative. This isn't like someone on a stage is singing. It's very like to themselves. It's very like, but despite the fact that it's kind of low and to this individual self, it is very beautiful. And so it caught me a little by surprise. Let's see here. Let's see here. This will take it. Nope. Here we go. As for visuals go, you see a really beautiful place. There are marble walls, maybe like a little bit of a winding staircase sort of like the beginning of a winding staircase that leads very up and high. There are very tall trees here and there and all about. I'll tell you what, I'll give you a picture of generally what you are seeing. And to be clear, this is like what you're seeing outside of a window. So the mirror is laid in an interior space. It seems to be sort of on a shelf. You can tell it's definitely like on a shelf with a number of other items, as if it was like a curiosity on a wizard's shelf. And you see the window, which clearly shows an image that looks like this, which I'm going to send in the Facebook chat for your viewing pleasure.
Alrighty.
Maybe not perfectly this image, but certainly very close in this aesthetic, absolutely.
Whoa, that's really cool. Given that this seems to be looking into someone's like personal quarters or study, is that correct?
Yes, and sort of like off camera, maybe like off to the periphery, you hear the sound coming through.
Well, as to not be too weird about it, Glint will like take a moment and then just knock on the surface of the window of the mirror on his side of it. And then just very politely, if awkwardly, just kind of say, "Oh, hello. Is my sound working?"
Do I need to unmute my? Do I need to get another mirror? The music stops, and you hear like as you're speaking in common, presumably. The voice does speak, and in a very sort of graceful tone. There's a hello. Hello, who is there?
Oh, I apologize. I appear to be in your mirror. I promise I am not a tiny man trapped inside.
Oh, magnificent! And very quickly you see the mirror being moved, and as it's moved, you come to see the individual sort of looks into it, and I'm going to tell you who that is. Well, I'm going to give you a visual description. You see a woman with rather large eyes and sharply pointed elven ears. She's sort of pale, tanny skin, maybe a little red, probably a wood elf. She has short brown hair. She has a circlet of sort of like a darker goldish metal, maybe a bronze, maybe a brass, with maybe like an aquamarine type color, and then a matching necklace. And she's wearing a very elegant long blue dress with white furls. You can see, it's difficult to say. It's difficult how you notice this, but you do notice that maybe there is an age to her. Perhaps it's her eyes. Maybe her eyes seem to speak to a wisdom that you don't see in many. But her face is young and graceful, but you see there is an age to her. She says, who might you be in my mirror? You found the other one. I have so many questions.
Well, hello. My name is Glint Grimhelm of the Auora Concordant. We found this mirror beneath the city of Emon in the Hoard of a Dragon.
Truly.
Yes, we've since repossessed it.
You repossessed it? My goodness. Well, excuse me for being impolite. My name is Oestra. I am the voice of memory of the Wardens of Singorn.
You, out of character, does Glint know the significance of that roll?
History check.
Alrighty. That is a 13 on the die, so that's a +8, 21 total.
Yeah. You realize you're talking to one of the four most important people in the Elven community of Tal'Dorei. So there's four Wardens of Singorn. There is the High Warden, who is sort of in charge of everything. There is the Verdant Lord, who is the military, shall we say. There is the Guild Runner, who is sort of the money, the treasurer, the business, and then there's the Voice of Memory, who is responsible for the histories of the elves, the preservation of culture. So, as you can imagine, a remarkably important individual in Elven society.
So Glint will stammer a little at realizing this. It probably takes him a good second or two for like the words to fully click.
There's a look in her eyes of patience, as if she's done this same interactions happen many times, perhaps.
I apologize for calling you at what may well be an inopportune moment. Given your responsibilities, I imagine personal time is something of a rarity.
It is quite all right. I'm glad to know that this mirror is, well, to know where the other end of this mirror is. I had written it off as a curiosity, but it seems that I'm unhappy to have been wrong. What did you say your name was?
Glint Grimhelm.
Of the Auora Concordant. Yes, and you've slain a dragon and claimed this mirror, I presume?
Correct. It was a young, by my understanding of the notion, a young red dragon.
My goodness.
It was not easy, and my companions did much of the heavy lifting, if I am to be honest. But it was still something of a hard fight for all of us.
Very interesting, Mr. Grimhelm. Well, I would ask, please, keep this mirror close. It would be a shame for such a device to go lost once more.
Certainly, and I suppose if ever you have need of the services of an adventuring party such as ours, you're welcome to reach out. I will do my best to keep this upon my person. I was worried initially of security concerns, as I didn't know to where this would connect. So I apologize for the blanket tent. I would have perhaps been at a nice table.
Yeah, make me a. That's actually very funny now that I think of it. You're like in a pillow fort. You're like, hey, how's it
A
going?
single candle.
A single candle. Who goes there? Make me. I'm gonna say make a persuasion check, but you may make it at advantage because of your forthrightness and not spying.
All right, that's
That
gonna
was
be
really cute.
at
I know, that
disadvantage, or sorry, at advantage at minus
That's an
one.
advantage. Yes.
That'll be a 15.
A 15. She says. That might. I think Singorn will always be interested in such well and good help. You seem like an earnest and straightforward individual, and I can appreciate that. And if you've slain a dragon, I'm sure that you are capable of many other things. I would like to offer you an invitation to meet with me in Singorn with your adventuring company, if you ever find yourself in the Verdant Expanse.
Certainly would be a massive honor. I am not exactly much of one for obfuscation. I think that aspect of my person was long since expunged.
I see.
But and if you wish, given your position, if you want us to return the pair on our end to you on our visit, I'm also happy to arrange for that with the permission of my companions. So I'll have to talk it over with the group. But I would be more than happy to accept that invitation.
Indeed, I would be willing to either. I think I would be willing to. Well, perhaps let's just say this. Whenever you have the time to find your way to Singor, know that you will have the invitation of the Voice of Memory, and perhaps we might speak of where these mirrors might find their hands into at some time. But perhaps we might keep in contact then, Mr. Grimhill.
Certainly, it would be more than happy to. If certain times work best for you, I'm happy to work around your schedule. I wouldn't want to interrupts during anything pressing or vital or overtly personal either.
Well, I will leave the mirror in my study as it is now, and I will check in, and you check in when you find it fit. But fear not any private intrusion. I will assume that you may pop in at any time should it be within my study.
Of course, thank you. Do I go with a lady, Westra, a keeper of memory, Westra?
Perhaps for being the strange dwarf in my mirror, and me being the strange elf in yours, perhaps we might keep things informal until such a time as we meet in person. And perhaps not even then, if all goes well.
But I can certainly manage that. Well,
Well, very well. Check in from time to time, and I shall do the same. I'd be very curious to hear of the happenings in Emon. I imagine perhaps you might be interested to know of what happens in the south.
I would be quite interested. There's histories and magics to Singorn that I've only dreamed to hear about, let alone ever understand. To have one such as you who keeps knowledge of these things, let alone the history of your people, would be fascinating to hear more from.
I'm always of the business of speaking of the memories of my people.
Well, until next time, I think the duration of this may be set to run out soon. So if my image freezes strangely or disappears, do be forewarned.
I see. Well, thank you once more for your openness. It would have been quite easy to have been of a spying sort, but I'm glad to see someone of moral integrity picked up this morning.
Oh, well, you'll make me blush. Do take care.
And she will say to you, ba, 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 ba. I'm trying to move quickly. Hang on. Nope. 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 Okay. It doesn't want me to. She will say a very sort of formal, she'll say like an elven goodbye of some kind. I'm going to try and find it, but for now, she'll just say something along the lines of Kalaneros Kalor, and we'll cease the mirror. That's not the one that we're actually going with. I'm going to try and find it, but she'll give you a sort of formal elven goodbye, and then the mirror will sort of shimmer out back into a normal mirror.
It's a little Skype hang-up sound, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Flynn will sit in the tent for a moment and just sort of, his head will tilt like a dog seeing a car pass by.
Ooh, really quick. She will say Uluvate, and that is and that will essentially mean may your fortunes bring you great joy. And it's a sort of thing that elves say in greeting or parting of individuals they enjoy the company of.
Ulavate.
Yes. It's sort of like it's kind of like ciao in Italian,
Yeah.
right? Say hello, goodbye, ciao.
The second the mirror goes dark, Linton will frenziedly write that down. As not to forget it because he does not know the language. And then I suppose he will set the mirror into his pack. He'll still wrap it up a little bit, but this time it's more protective rather than paranoid.
Cool.
He'll take down the little blanket tent that he set up,
In
and
the corner of
he'll
the palace.
yeah. And then he will head over to regroup with anyone else that might be present and still around.
Let's see if anyone cool walks by. What do you guys think? Should someone cool walk by?
Why not?
1, 2. Somebody roll a d10.
Ten.
Nice.
10. You
Sorry?
guys see. No, it's good. No, don't be sorry. It's all good. This is a very cool individual. As you guys are sort of beginning to make your way out, you see sort of stomping down the halls. You see delicate Keljaya Alue. And she sees you all, and yeah, it's one of those. You see that she is moving in tandem with that sort of rather stiff elven individual that you saw before. Ooh, how many are there? Sorry, this is my little cheat sheet of.
Does
delegate.
Yvaine recognize anyone from the dossier that Cressida made her memorize?
Not at this moment. It is simply going to be. Oh man, where's my freaking elven delegation, man? It's all good. It's fine. It's fine. It really is fine. But no, you see her with a that rather stiff. Oh, roll me a. Oh, right. Roll me a history check at advantage. See if you recognize the sort of leader of the delegation.
14.
14. The gentleman who's at the front of these individuals who seem to be going into a nearby chamber, you would recognize as. Ooh, where are you? Ambassador Sildor Vassar, who is the ambassador of Singorn and the father of Coin Mistress Lady Vexalia Darula. Yes. Z Hobbs.
Ah!
As we're walking by, I will sneer at the Singorn, the obvious Singorn delegation, and I don't know if Keljaya speaks Goblin or not, but in Goblin, I'll ask her any progress.
So you run up to the Elven delegation to talk to him?
What? Well, I wouldn't say that I want to brush shoulders. I don't want to run up.
Got it. You saddle up next to the Elven delegation, no problem. Say any progress? She goes,
Does she speak
goes,
Goblin?
she will speak back to you in Goblin. She does know Goblin, it seems. She says, it is taking some time. I wish things moved faster, but they will come in time. But there's many stubborn people.
Right. Look of disapproval, and then I'll move on. Not toward her, but toward the delegation in general.
Yeah, as you sort of like sneered all the other elves, Keljaya kind of gives you a look of like, what the fuck? Like you see it, like she seems to hold the opinion that these are her boys
Sure.
as you sneer at them.
Fair enough. We have differences of opinion.
Yep, absolutely. She looks at you and she goes, no, she doesn't do that. But she definitely gives you a look of like, what the fuck are my boys? What the fuck is my Seaborn delegation? What the fuck? Come on, bro. She seems to be pretty on board with the elves that are present with her for whatever reason. Oh, that's why, because I put them all inside, I think.
Also,
That's fine. Yep.
is there a Tailspire up?
I've been running Tailspire this whole time again! And
Yeah.
nobody told me I missed it!
That's
Ah,
why I figured I'd ask, a little early into it
Thank-
rather than.
Thank you. You get inspiration for letting me know. Waiting a half an hour while I play with my action figures.
Oh, that's a nice GIF on the Roll20. Very clever.
That was ironically, it's like the only image I could find of him, so he gets a gift.
I didn't even know you could do that in Roll20. I'm gonna have to make note of that.
Yeah, I didn't either until recently. Okay. I can tell you how many people are in the delegation now. There is the delegation is 7 individuals and the ambassador, Helgiah being one of those delegates. So they have a pretty big delegation. It just disappeared on me for some reason. But anyway, that's them right over there. Is there anything else you guys would like to do? I'll say at this time, Emperor, the individual who you were speaking to tells you that they don't seem to be present, this individual that you're looking for, but would happily be able to basically give you notice when they do show up, or give them a message on your behalf, whatever you prefer.
Absolutely. I'm happy to leave a message. I need to speak with his charge, Nero, at his earliest convenience.
Very good. And she will say, very well, and she will be prepared to do so. And ask if is there anything else that you would like?
No, that's everything I have.
And we'll nod. You can then proceed back to business. No problem. Okay. Fantastic. Is there anything else anyone wants to do in Cloud Watch, or are we heading out?
Glint would probably sidle up towards Zarvolg in this case, given the conversations the party had last session. Zarvolg, do you have a moment?
Any fewer moments in here are better.
If I had a standing invitation to Singorn with one of their heads of state, would that help your goals at all?
It would absolutely not. The people who sold me and the people who bought me are not my greatest company.
That is fair. I will keep that in mind whenever we're passing through.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to try to make my way to the... Yvaine didn't really answer me, so I'm trying to get out of this place as quickly as possible. It's becoming... It was already stuffy, and now there's a lot of Singorn elves involved, and I just want out.
Fair enough. You decide you've had enough, and you depart the castle, the palace. No issue there. And the party can follow if they wish to. Okay. You all depart? Yep, go ahead.
I said absolutely.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. You all depart. Where are you all headed? You guys have the better part of the day before you meet with your half-elven friend the next morning.
I've got 2 stops in mind.
Okay.
Stop 1 is I need to. I don't know if it's set up in the merchants' quarter or in the religious, the temple quarter. But I need to drop in to speak with somebody at her Lady of Change.
Got it. Understood. Yeah, you can definitely head that way. No problem. Absolutely. Is there just so I know what everybody's all off to do? Ember, you're off to do that. Lady Change. Anybody else?
Glint would finally ask Yvaine if he could take a look at the skull that Yvaine's been carting around.
She's going to look at you and look around and look at you again and say, I understand we have a big bad writ from Auora Concordant now, but perhaps before we start, whipping skulls out in public, I don't know,
I was hardly asking to,
be more subtle.
I was hardly asking to stroll out to a cafe and plop it on the table. But I figure, we might be swinging by the tavern at some point or somewhere a little more private, that I could properly go over it and see what all's going on there.
Honestly, maybe later. All right, I'm kind of beat, and I am not sure where we are, but she is going to disengage and actually head straight to the spark.
Can I roll insight, which I'm not very good at, to kind of like suss out a vibe there?
Insight, go for it. Yvaine?
That's not very good.
Deception?
I'm going to use my
Yeah,
inspiration. Because that was a nat 1 on the first roll. Yeah, it's a 9.
That was an 8.
Nice. So, I believe Glint wins in this great test of wits here. I will say Yvaine is Yvaine's all do cloud watch and like listening to rumors and getting bumped by Zarvolg and having a good time. And you bring up the skull and she almost immediately kind of goes very standoffish, very you've got this big thing, but maybe fuck off, basically, and then runs away, and then almost literally doesn't run away, but pretty quickly makes her escape.
Actually, she's been grumpy ever since Zarvolg grumbled at her. In truth, she has been.
So sort of I think grumpy in a more almost legitimately grumpy, but in a you fucker kind of way, not in a genuinely perturbed kind of way. And then you bring up the skull, and Yvaine's kind of it gets very, I almost want to say catty a little bit, almost a little catty about it, and then departs the party immediately. It's a little weird.
A little odd.
It's a little odd. A little outside the standard Yvaine operating procedure, probably.
Okay.
Especially considering she's usually a very knowledge-seeking individual. And in this case, she's very
Glint doesn't pursue her or anything on it. He doesn't press the point for today. He just makes a note of that. Maybe
Sure.
sketches down an actual note in his little journal.
Yvaine, ... WTF, question mark?
Yeah.
Skull,
drawing of a
question
skull.
mark, question mark, question mark? Little drawing of a skull?
All right.
I want to see Glint's book. I imagine it's, for some reason, I just imagine it's kind of like a team book, and there's little drawings. And,
Little stickers.
Some stickers, yeah.
Mm-hmm. One day I'll get a proper physical representation.
Nice.
Yeah, that was all on my list.
All right.
So outside the Cloudtop, what is it? Palace? Cloudtop Palace? Is that what it is?
It's called Cloud Watch Palace.
Yeah. So outside of that, very loudly so that everyone can hear in common. He says, I told you I don't like that. Don't make me do that again.
Some of the delegates around are like, I don't know. They just kind of take note of your loudness, not in like a bad way, but just in a stingy, noble kind of way.
Did you say that you were from Singorn? Zarvolg?
He immediately visually fumes. From Singorn. No. No. I was captured outside of Singorn and sold to dwarves in the north.
Understood. I do apologize for needling you. I'm just trying to establish the clear sequence of events.
The sequence of events. I was born into a society that didn't want me. I was terrorized by seemingly good wood elves and then sold into the slavery of hardworking dwarves.
I cannot wholly relate to what that must have been like, truthfully, but that doesn't make it less terrible that it happened. Sorry, I won't ask you more about the elves for the moment.
I'm fine with making my own name for now, but I don't. There are just certain groups of people that I don't trust.
And are those
Like those goddamn elves in the south? Those motherfuckers?
and those groups would be wood elves and dwarves, or
Well, specifically, yes. Actually, the elves of Singorn are not as peaceful as they claim to be, and the dwarves of the north are not as individually industrious as they claim to be. There's a lot that goes on in both of those societies of the undercast behind the scenes.
well, on the Dwarven front, I do understand that much. Craghammer wasn't exactly the best place for me, as you might imagine, given my predilections. And whenever you come up in Craghammer, if you have curiosities or arcane talent and your last name isn't Thunderbrand, it doesn't exactly get you very far.
And for the first time, Zarvolg kind of gives you a look of curiosity and a little bit maybe a crack of compassion, but he doesn't say anything at all.
I'm sorry that people suck.
People do suck. And then he looks at it, Yvaine, and smirks a little bit, and under comedy says, "Don't say which."
Guy screaming.
Such a beautiful language.
Right?
It's like I'm having a curse placed on me already. I can feel my bones are shaking.
Is that the One Ring?
Okay, but at that, Yvaine chuckles.
Hilarious.
So So, where to next, friends?
And then she turns to Zarvolg in an undercom and says, "The next time you interrupt me when I'm working, I will turn you into a fucking toad."
Oh,
Love you.
love you, mean it.
So what Yvaine? So when Yvaine says, "I will turn you," well, let me see if I can put fucking in there. Maybe they allow swearing. Nope, they don't allow swearing in Dwarvish or in Undercommon Translator. But other than the swear word in there, this is essentially what Yvaine says when she says, "I'll turn you into a toad." She just goes, "Dorn shatel gdos one gnathar tozo." Just to give you a slice of life from the two Undercommon friends.
Just imagining very Italian hand gestures at the moment.
Dorn shatel someone Natasha toze.
That's
I
the
mean,
whole
it
thing. He
fits.
calls her witch, but I feel like it actually really suits her.
And yeah, under his breath, he says, he mumbles, hopefully for her not to hear, but maybe she hears. At least it would be a break from all the whoring.
That's so mean. What's your passive perception, Yvaine?
22.
Yeah,
That
you
hoarding
hear that.
that hoarding has got us pretty far, honestly.
I'm not one in session 1 that will never go away. So great. Zarvolg, do you want to know the word for witch in Undercommon?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's Kinros.
Kinross.
So, there you go. Have fun with that.
And yeah, actually, if you think about it, the relationships she has formed have actually been quite beneficial. So fuck off.
It's taking us to good places. And beneficial. Okay. All right. So, folks, as you walk out of the as you're walking down the Cloud Top District, what next?
Bickering in Undercommon.
Yeah, Tweedledee and Tweedledum are growling at each other in the most aggressive language out there. But other than that,
So on the docket today, we're meeting with the page.
No, he's supposed to present himself to us tomorrow. Should we?
or did I say
second
that
floor
wrong?
room.
Because
He
last
said
session,
that she was going to send him to us.
yeah, like today, right? I keep forgetting Allura by Soren's a fucking Archmage. So yeah, I'm gonna say that like he's on the way to the Rousing Spark, and you basically go meet with him whenever you want.
All right, then yeah,
My
I
apologies.
suppose that's where we're going. Beyond that, I was just going to suggest that if we're going to potentially be meeting with clients, should we take that second floor room, the bigger meeting room, and make it look on purpose? Like I don't want to say war room, that seems very literal, but a tactical suite.
Tactical suite. Nice. All right, you guys want to go to your tactical suite, or invite this
Yeah.
guy to your tactical suite? Alrighty then. Alrighty then. Let's see if anything happens on your way through the city. Nope. You're lucky. You're all lucky. I'm gonna just go see if I can find a cool face for this guy.
I would like to try to posture to look very important in the tactical suite.
Of course. I would expect nothing less.
Hey, when we're settling down,
Uh-huh.
getting into the tactical suite before our friend has gotten to us. So we've been together for like 100 days. When's everyone's birthday? Like, I feel like we should know when each other's birthdays are. I feel like there are 5 parties that should happen every year.
What's a birthday?
Hold on for a moment.
You would, Zarvolg.
I'm so sorry.
In your case, it's going to be a little different. Different cultures do it differently. So, for some people who are just normal, it's the day they were born, it's the time that their friends celebrate them. But in your case, sir, I've been thinking about it. In your case,
Their
you're a
friends.
warrior. You made yourself, so it probably ought to be a day that you were recognized for having done what you set out to do. So I was thinking the 8th of Fesseran.
What's that?
It's when you got your cloak, which would have been when the Ashari, who are literally people of the wild, recognized you as a master hunter.
So every person gets a day when people celebrate them.
Yep.
Most
Mine's next week.
And everyone celebrates.
They're friends, not like everyone in the world, but like they're friends, yeah.
Oh, I like this.
It's pretty great.
So on the 8th,
Your first one was awesome. If you think about it, you got the nifty cloak, and you won a drunken archery contest, and you got your task sketching. So like that's how you spend a birthday. Like having fun, feasting, and enjoying time with friends.
so the 8th of Vestron is like Zarvolg Day.
Yeah.
I like this.
I
I like
could make you a very nice hat on your birthday if you want. You could wear it the whole day.
Oh yeah. Different cultures will do like you'll have a special thing that you wear, whatever.
Oh, I don't have to wear the puffy shirt, do I?
No, just a very fancy hat. Little crown if you want.
Oh,
Little tiara.
I would like a crown. A real, like a masculine one, though. Like, just a.
Or bulky lines, hard geometry, something going up in a long line.
Yeah, like a band of metal.
Oh, the simplistic look. I can do that.
So Glint, what about you?
The 15th of Brusendar.
All right, Finch. Yeah, you knew I was going to ask you. Come on, out with it.
I don't want to say.
You can tell me or I'll ask
It's
your
today.
It's right now.
You caught me.
brothers. Oh no, the family would have said something if it was today.
Oh no. It's the 4th of Duskar.
Wait, are you for real? Mine's the 2nd of Duskar. Both of us have birthdays next week.
Isn't that
Winning.
Baron Eve?
Yeah, I was
It is on the
I was
2nd.
born on Midwinter's Night.
Hmm. So did your birthday ever just get sort of subsumed into the holiday celebration? Is that a thing that you also had?
Yvaine or myself, because we're both born very close to holidays.
Both of you, I suppose.
Yes,
It
from
sort of
the
got-
day I was. Mhm. Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Yes. It has been quite a prominent part of my life since I was born for many obvious reasons, which were then just perpetuated after everything happened. And I just feel like it's something that I don't need to celebrate. It's fine. It's fine. We're good. It's fine.
Right, with the angelic wings and all, that would
Yes,
Oh,
and then
huh.
the date of my birth, I feel like it all just got wrapped into a lot more than it should have been.
People do love their omens out of happenstance.
Oh, they sure do.
I don't know. The people who were important remembered me, and then we all got to do the holiday as well. So everyone was always really upbeat.
Hmm.
So it was, I don't know. I liked it. All right, Ember, what about you?
Mine was several weeks ago. I was in hospital and still been nice,
All right.
quiet. Not to worry.
I can figure it out. You were only in the hospital for a particular 10 days, Ember. We will celebrate you for 10 days if you can't give me a day. Don't. I am threatening you with a good time, sir.
Above the table, I can't remember what the date was.
It was this day.
Insert the hospital time on a Wednesday here.
We can catch it out again.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say I have universally been struggling to keep track of holidays. I am doing my best. I'm not going to do good at keeping track of birthdays. If your character's birthday is coming up, please let me know, and so that I can do birthday stuff.
I never know what day it is in D&D.
That's okay. I usually keep track of it. Well, apparently Yvaine and Finch have birthdays coming up next week.
Ooh.
And there's all kinds of cool stuff that could happen.
There's Baron Eve and there's Ember Tide.
Oh my
This thing.
god, right? You know, and oh god, I wish we could get to Live and Gorn.
Auora, can maybe we go to Larry Gold for my birthday?
Please, it's not too much trouble.
Please.
Listen, all
Okay.
of these is for us to have
Hey,
a
guys.
discussion about the thing.
Hey guys, if you execute this, task, and you do it well, maybe, just maybe, she's certainly got the resources to send you there. You want to call? I mean, it's stipulated in your contract that you get access to certain cool places. That's like your major boon. So, might not be too out there to ask. Anyway,
All right, let's solve this shit.
let's solve this shit, yo.
I've always wanted to go to Live and Gorn on my birthday because they have the sky swimmers and the moon weavers ribbons,
Sky dancers.
and it's supposed to be beautiful. Okay.
Okay, so you all make it back. It seems that the oh no, who's missing of my little group of people? Oh, Cressida. Cressida's missing, but it's fine. Yeah, it seems that the Sparks are off doing stuff. They're not around today. But you will see a half elf sitting at the table. Or sitting, around, whatever. I'll find a cool mini for him, real quick. Man, no cool minis here? Fine. Oh, I know what to get him. But let me describe him. You guys see, sitting at the bar, just having he's got his notes all sprawled out, very much like the medieval version of that writer who shows up and just pulls out his laptop and his 3 notebooks and just makes himself at home at the bar. It's kind of what his deal is. I don't think he's so rude as to do that. We'll say that he's sitting at the Sparks table right now, not knowing, of course, that it's the Sparks table. Anyway, he's actually a rather handsome individual. He has sort of raven black hair, but it's got a serious blue tint, a very faint blue tint to his hair. He has sort of intense eyes that are blue. He has these turquoise, these very unique earrings that are almost like swords, but the blades are like these little turquoise gemstones. He's wearing, mage's robes. He has a long blue, sort of cape cloak across his back. And he's just kind of got his sleeves rolled up. He's got a krill out, and he's got this old leather-bound book, and he's just kind of working away. And he's the sort of newest and most wizardy-looking person in the bar. So you believe you're looking at Jomen Tash? Could be him. I will give you a handout so you can see what he looks like, and you can decide if my physical descriptions are good or not.
What a nerd.
Yeah. Nerd. Whatever.
Who'd want to look like a wizard anyway?
Would want to look like a wizard.
I think the hot elf's for you, Yvaine.
He looks up and at your party that is staring at him apparently. And he goes, I'm sorry, can I help you?
Are you, Mr. Jomen Tash?
Yes, I am he. Are you the Tal'Dorei council representatives? I was told of.
No, that would be us. We are the Auora Concordant.
That was the name. Yes, right. And he'll stand up and present a hand, shake all of your hands. Yes, indeed, I am Guide Jomen Tash of the Arcana Philosophical. It is a pleasure to make all of your acquaintances. Allura by Soren spoke very highly of you.
Even me. It's a surprise.
What was that?
Oh, nothing. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure. Very well. Please take a seat. If that is your prerogative.
Right.
Actually, why don't we adjourn upstairs?
Oh, most certainly. Let me just pack up my things here, and he'll throw his books. He throws his books together in a little pile in his arms. A little mage hand sort of into existence and starts helping him sort everything out, and like picks up his cup of ale, and he'll follow you all upstairs to your tactical suite. Sure. And yeah, and you guys can hold council up there.
Friends, we intend this to be a private conversation, yes?
That's why we adjourned upstairs.
Mm-hmm. Give me just a few moments, or a few minutes, really, if you will. If you want to go ahead, Glint's going to pull out his book and begin ritually casting alarm on the doorway of the suite.
Okay.
That way it'll ping him if anyone starts lingering near the door.
Right, you start taking a little wire and start making some accommodations. Very good. Incredible. He'll say, so, where to begin? Well, perhaps we might begin here. If you wouldn't mind my asking, in what capacity did the Arcanist send you upon? She told me that she would be sending representatives to check my work. Is that it? You're here to proof check my discoveries?
Well, it may be somewhat more involved than that.
Excellent.
If there is actionable information, we may be obligated to take appropriate action. But our first step is to get a sense of how reliable those pages may be, because there are some that are more reliable than others.
Of course.
Uh,
I'm well aware of the activities of disreputable mages and their relationship with this journal.
and if everything sorts itself appropriately, then we have been engaged to see where that may lead.
Well, this is quite excellent. I'd hoped that she would extend such courtesy. Very good. And he'll start scattering his belongings across the table. And he will somewhat covetously keep the actual sort of older journal close to himself. And he will say, it isn't everything. If I might ask, how much have you been made aware of the Bonethro journal? I'm more than happy to give a sort of initial crash course if you need a refresher or if you haven't heard much.
I'm familiar with the basics.
It said she saw the ruins of Salar, that her journal
Yes.
was
Yes.
the most extensive recollection of the city, that it had been kept by the Arcana Panisophical for a long while before it was stolen, and that the people who look upon the ruins of Salar apparently go mad.
All supposedly true, though much of that is, gossip and rumor. Well, yeah, I will say that I do actually have a number of friends in the medical field, psychologically, of course, who wonder if the ruins of Solar. It's a sort of debate amongst some more physicians to see if the ruins of Solar are simply a focus of those who have been driven mad, or if it is indeed the ruins themselves that have gone mad. There's no proof to support that the actual ruins are responsible. This is besides the point there, but yes, in essence, there, Miss. You're absolutely correct. Indeed, Caroline von Ethro claimed to have visions of Solar and described this in grievous detail, the subterranean city of twisted pillars that stretched higher than any tower that anyone had ever seen, kissing the seat of the surface world from the bedrock of the earth, and so on and so forth. And her journal is considered to be the single most coherent documentation of Solar in existence. Now, I've been doing some research to check the authenticity of this journal, and I learned a great deal, and would be happy to spout knowledge upon you if that is what you wanted, but I presume not. But to make a long story short, I have recovered black market pages, which are rubbish, but I've been extensively exploring this book, and I deeply believe that these are the authentic pages of Von Ethro's journal, and I've deduced a number of pages here and there that I believe I might know where to start, or at least where she started her adventure into that subterranean depth. And it's not too far either. It is connected to the sewer systems of Emon.
That would
Got
make a measure
back
of
from there.
it makes a measure of sense, though. Some of the ruins beneath Amon, even the ones we strayed to in the sewers ourselves recently, were predating the city itself by some time.
You had said that those particular ruins would have predated the calamity? Is that what you were suggesting?
They may have. I would have to spend a few more days of hard research to, fully confirm, but that was the inclination I got from an initial once-over.
It is worth pointing out that Salar, the original city, and the caverns connected to it, the Crystal Fen Caverns, there's many entrances and many openings. We can make this, if you don't want to take the sewer route, I'm sure there's many other ways to enter the Crystal Fen Caverns. But regardless, that would align with the age of the ruins of Salar. They say that in the final battles of the Calamity, the god of the power that was amassed and shockwaved across Tal'Dorei collapsed many of those caverns. Salar does predate the Calamity.
Oh
Go ahead.
no, I'm deeply intrigued now. Thank you. I was irritable a moment ago.
Oh, you find research refreshing as well?
I do.
Oh, excellent. Good, good. It'd be good to have another intellectual. Of course, and yourself there, good sir. I recognize a wizard when I see one.
Thank you. I am a humble practitioner. I was hoping for a chance to go over the notes you've recovered, simply to see if there's any signs of duplicity, not on your end, but of a particularly clever forger.
Oh, by all means. You'll keep the journal, but you will pass over like all of his research notes.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Glint will gladly go through them, both as a mage, but I guess as a generally brainy sort, to try and get a feel for these pages and mostly he's just trying to verify their authenticity more than anything.
Are you proficient with a forgery kit?
No. So it's a little bit of a shot in the dark. He has investigation, history, arcana. So I guess if any of the information might be incorrect on that front, but he's not going to be able to like see hidden ink or things like that very well.
I will say roll me... well, yes, Yvaine, let's hit you first. Okay?
So one of the things about becoming proficient in calligrapher's tools is that you can spot forgery.
Oh, very cool.
Ah, Xanathar is coming in
So
handy.
I am not proficient, but I've been learning the skill for weeks and weeks and weeks. Is that enough to allow me to at least look for it, even without having the extra proficiency?
You can look for it, but you won't gain... Similar to Glint, you can look for it, but you won't gain any extra proficiencies. So I'll allow... If you both want to look through this stuff together, you can both make intelligence checks, if you wish.
Sure thing.
If you're looking for forgery specifically, yes.
That
Alrighty.
was a 10 flat, so I know that that's...
Let's see, on a 6 plus 5, that's an 11. Yeah.
An 11.
Everything looks in order.
Everything looks in order.
Your notes
It is also
clearly
worth saying
check
that
out.
it is also worth saying that he's handing you over his research notes. He's not handing you the journal of Thanatos. He's keeping.
Oh, well, then in which case, never mind. I thought we were.
It's he forged his research. No, he's very like you know, he's keeping that. He seems very attached to it. There might be a charisma check required if you want to try and part him with it for even a short period of time. But
Oh, I was thinking he would just put it out on the table. I didn't think he was going to give them to us.
Well, we'll role play it if you want
Yeah.
to look at the book itself. Otherwise, his research notes do not look to be forged. I will say, as you, well, I'll tell you what. You were looking for forgeries. I'll tell you what. Why don't you add your investigation titles to it, and we'll say that you were looking through the research notes for logic, basically. Because I think we got confused in what we were doing here. So, whatever you got, add whatever proficiency you might gain from investigation.
Okay. Would that be a fresh check or just applied to the prior roll?
Nah, just apply the new modifier.
It will not change for Yvaine.
So that would go up to a 14 for Glint.
How are you not proficient in investigation? I don't think there's a month that's gone by where you've been dedicated hours of research time.
Right, so when we get to level 8, and I can take, right, because I will have definitely earned that proficiency.
Fair enough.
At another level.
You will have certainly earned that, absolutely. Sorry, what was your total?
14 then in total.
14. You do see like thorough investigation. This is the work of an intelligent academic. This isn't chicken scratch conjecture. There's very reasonable logic. It seems that he has applied due research over the course of several months, and from potentially reputable sources. I think he might have done some research at the Lyceum. I think there's some evidence, some writing there, and evidence to support that he's pulled a couple volumes from the libraries of the Alabaster Lyceum. So he looks.
Got it.
It looks like his work seems pretty credible from your scan.
Mhm. This is remarkably well put together, Mr. Tosh. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Certainly, but of course you can refer to me as Jomen. Yes.
Of course, Jomen. So your intent, if I'm understanding correctly, is you would like us to delve into where you believe the entry to Solar is,
Yes.
and see if we ourselves can enter the city and examine it for how much it lives up to the legends. Is that correct?
Of course, it would be the discovery of this. Well, I mean, Vox Machina has done some pretty
The
impressive things,
decade,
but this would
perhaps?
be an incredible discovery of the decade, most certainly. The recovery of the ruins of Solar, a lost city, a supposedly unseeable city from pre-calamity, Age of Arcanum. Who could say what wonders and magic may be down there?
Well,
But
What do you
I will
want?
tell you. I will tell you such. If you wish to take, I would like to, of course, go. But I understand that research must take its time. If you want to find your own entrances to the Crystal Fen Caverns, that I'm told that there are many. As you might have seen in my research there, several students at the Lyceum. It is a sort of common practice for some of the younger people to delve caverns, and it's not always well advised. It's rather dangerous. But if you wanted to seek out your own entrance, I happen to have no one within the actual sewers, though it is a little more difficult to get to, and I'm not sure if it's dangerous or not. I've not scouted it myself. I'm not a scout. But I do know how to navigate the caverns and get to the ruins of Solar according to the book.
Interesting. I'm personally very interested. What do you all think, friends?
I'm highly personally motivated to solve this mystery.
I do have two precursors. Firstly, assuming there is actually some dark and terrible power secreted away in those whatever we find down there, will we be expected to slay it, kill it, or are we simply on a fact-finding mission and expected to make a hasty departure?
I think the best way to interpret this particular adventure is as an archaeological discovery. Um, you know, I think we want to discover the city and see what it has to offer. Most certainly, we should defend ourselves. But this is certainly I would say, an archaeological sort of endeavor.
And on that note, I'm glad that you brought up archaeology. Jomen, how do you feel about bones?
I require them, as many do. Um, when I eat meat, I tend to discard them, admittedly. I don't follow your meaning, or was that sort of a funny question?
I never joke about the funny bones. Some of my arcane practices involve working with inanimate matter. And occasionally that involves bones.
Oh! He looks around. You're a, you're a necromancer. Is that what you're saying? Are you a necromancer?
Yes, I figured.
He's
you
like right
know,
up on you too. He's like you're a necromancer.
I figured in the process of investigation, it would be untoward to your security if I did not make you aware.
Well, if the Arcanist vouches for you, and you are willing to help me in this endeavor, I will perhaps be forced to not care about the bones so much. I think is the best. I'm not as elegant with words as I think many of you are. I don't give a shit. As long as we find the ruins of Solar. If it
Excellent.
helps us get there, fantastic.
Wonderful. And I promise, if worst comes to worst, I will not touch yours.
Oh. I appreciate that. I hadn't thought to. No, I appreciate that.
Were you wanting to leave today, or is this more of a tomorrow sort of thing? Is there any additional preparation we might need to make?
I would like to take at least the night to get a proper bag prepared and put on my travel
Yeah,
boots and
it's
such.
the middle of the afternoon. We should probably wait until the morning.
Yes. Well, I will. Let me put it this way. I am, of course, a member of the Arcane Panopticon. I'm capable of defending myself magically. However, with that said, I will, though, know how to get through the caverns and such, and to some degree able to navigate with the guide and function as a mouthpiece for the late Caroline Bonethro and her discoveries. I will consider you, of course, in charge of security and all other aspects of the adventure. So, whatever you all think is fit, whether you require time, I will see fit to follow your schedule.
I'm certain that there are preparations that probably should be made as
Indeed, special equipment and proper preparations, the preparations of spells and so on and such. Of course, I think, is this, do you stay here often at this particular tavern, or is there another place?
I call this place home.
Oh, excellent. Then I will rent a room here for the next couple days, or however long until you're all ready. So I'll be around here until you are ready to get going. But I will gather my stuff from my home, and I will be ready first thing in the morning, whether or not that is when you wish to go.
In unrelated material, are you familiar with a dragonborn by the name of Sanson Narvul?
Yes, I think we bumped shoulders a couple times. Yes.
Would you know of a good way to contact him?
I could see via the sending spell, I imagine.
If you have that available, that would be fantastic.
Oh, I always keep a sending handy. It's always good to be able to communicate.
I have need to speak
certainly,
to
sir.
him.
Very well. He will sort of make a quick arcane gesture. And he says, sorry, what was your name?
Ember Benzile.
I see. Of course, he was rather grumpy about it, but he will be here in the next couple of days.
Fantastic. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Well, unless there's any other questions, I am going to head back to my home and gather some things, and I will be ready whenever you are in the morning. But again, if you need extra time, I understand that patience is a virtue. So, until then, goodbye. And he will walk down this. He'll gather all of his notes and he will wander downstairs and disappear back on those streets of Emon with his journal in tow. With maybe a little pep in his step of excitement that he's essentially been sponsored by the Tal'Dorei Council to perform an archaeological endeavor. So that's pretty cool when you get your funding for your project.
Awesome.
So, you guys are probably in the late afternoon. What would you like to do, if anything? You got preparations to make, things to do, people to talk to before you go off on your first adventure for the Tal'Dorei Council.
I don't
Absolutely.
know people to talk to, but are there any supplies we're going to need to go spelunking? Like, I know we still have. Glint, do you have a climber's kit? Like, we also have climber's kits. What sorts of things should we be needing?
I can't say that I carried around a climber's kit with me for any reason in the last 20 or 30 years. I can purchase one.
I mean, I'm sure we could just manage supplies. We just want to make sure that we've got a way from getting to point A to point B if it happens to be straight down or straight up.
Well, I do have an abundance of rope. I could purchase some pitons, spittons. Maybe a nice hammer.
I think we all have climbers' kits which have the fancy shoes, and I can always turn into a spider to ferry people. Zarvolg gets a little twitchy about it, but it's perfectly practical.
If any spell shops are open, it might be worth investing in some scrolls or trinkets that could provide some limited castings of magic meant to slow one's descent in case the worst comes to worst. There are occasionally some deep ravines over there.
She taps on her pauldrons, which, if you notice, the top of each pauldron looks like a beak
Oh,
of a large predator. Featherfall, yeah. I got him.
wonderful. And that works on all of us.
No, just me. But
Oh.
yeah, we should definitely get something for everyone.
I'm gonna have actually Zarvolg being the survivalist of the group. I'd like you to make me a nature check.
Okay. Nine.
Okay, but Yvaine is skilled in survival and nature too.
Yeah, but you're not a ranger.
I'm not a ranger.
You want me? I can do survival instead of nature.
This is more of a knowledge-based thing. It's really
That was nine.
wouldn't quite fit here. I'll simply say, here's what I'll say. It's a sort of moderate success, but I'm not going to give you everything. The ruins of Solar are considered to be within the Crystal Fen Caverns. And supposedly you're going to be going down. Now, what would you say is underneath you right now as you sit on the portable log?
Oh, probably as with most ports and seaside places, maybe salt caves.
Yeah. What else?
Water.
That's all.
All right.
As you consider the potential environment you might be entering into.
All right. So we might be looking at a little bit of water travel.
I don't have any tricks up my sleeve for handling that.
I do.
Wonderful. Sorry, that sounded much more sarcastic than I meant. That is my grateful tone.
Oh, no, I understood that. And
Excellent.
she smiled at you, so she's like, no, I get it.
Mostly laughing at you. I wasn't laughing at you, but that's laughing at you.
I do have some spells to assist us in safe recuperation if we had to make camp for long periods down there. Beyond that, I could prepare that spell of flight that you so graciously allowed me to describe. Are there any potions or scrolls you might want to invest in, do you think?
I'll also remind you guys, a portion of your contract with the Tal'Dorei Council is if you require specialized gear, they might be willing to compensate you for it.
Oh.
If
So
there is
long as you
specialized-
can justify the purchase. So if you're like, hey, we need to go in water, can we have this legendary tank of water concealment? They might be like, maybe we get you like an air bubble scroll instead. So, but
Like,
yes, they are willing to compensate you for.
So here's the thing, I do have a spell, but in order for me to get, I could only ever get 5. I could never get 6, and it would be the most energetic thing I did all day. So if we can get scrolls, if that's something that our contract provides us, that is so much smarter. It'd be for us each to have a couple scrolls of air bubble.
Would Glint know of any particular magic items that might assist with navigating water? Or
Arcana check.
alrighty. That's a 16 total. Roll the
16
5.
total. Yes, there is a magic item that is known as a cap of water breathing.
Interesting.
It is as it sounds. Lets you breathe in water. There's a couple of other ones too, but that's the most basic of the magic items. The cap of water breathing. It is a non-attunement, uncommon magic item, wondrous, that basically allows you to create a bubble of air around your head. There are some more advanced undersea magic items out there, but that's certainly the most basic of them.
There is a sort of like a little shower cap you can buy that helps you breathe underwater. Or at least it's a hat of some form or a cap.
I love it. Let's get those.
Should we send a letter over to the one of the council representatives or Laura just
Do
to
we
request
just-
funding?
Do we just go to Gilmore's, buy it, and she reimburses us? Do we expense
Yeah.
account this to her?
We could. The alternative would be asking her if she knows it and whether or not she'd let me copy it out of her book. Like a spell for it or such.
Well, we didn't think to get a sending stone for her. We probably should do that.
Most likely.
One of us could contact her tonight, but otherwise, does anyone have sending? Because I don't have it.
Are there because this is a full like proper city, correct?
Emon, yes, it is a full proper.
So are there like runners you can hire to just deliver messages? Sort of
yeah.
like paper boys?
Oh yeah, you could go find any old kid off the side of the street. Run it for you for a couple copper.
We have one. We have Beverly.
Yeah, you have your own squire.
Your
You don't even
squire.
have to pay her. She goes, "Oh, I'll help. I can run stuff for you."
Excellent. Better than any spell. If you'd be willing.
Of course, it's my sacred duty and all.
Well, by all means.
Yep. Just give it to her. Yep.
Just
We have to
Nothing.
pen it. We have to actually write it first.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, I got excited. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't get a lot of jobs to do. The city's so.
All right. So we're writing Auora a letter. What is this letter to Auora saying? Can we have 6 shower caps of air bubble? Or
You could ask.
alternatively, can Glint copy it out of your spell book?
Correct.
Alternatively, can our necromancer have access to your spellbook?
It's a page. You can cut it out and glue it back in later.
Actually, we'd only need to get 1, and then you copy it in there, and then you just cast it on all of us ritually, right? Is that something you can do?
If I can learn the proper spell, yes.
Is it that kind of spell?
Does Glint know this?
Make an Arcana check. If it's a spell that you can copy as a wizard, is that what you mean?
If it's a ritual spell that can be cast on multiple targets.
Ah, gotcha.
That's a 26.
Apparently, you know the air bubble spell pretty well. I will read everything about it to you. It is a 2nd level spell called Air Bubble. It has a 1-action casting time, 60-foot range, somatic component, no verbal required, duration 24 hours, School of Magic Conjuration. There is no attack or save for the spell. It is a buff-based spell. It can be cast by druids, rangers, sorcerers, wizards, and artificers. It comes from the Spelljammer Adventures in Space Astral Adventures Guide, page 22. It is you create a spectral globe around the head of a willing creature you can see within range. The globe is filled with fresh air that lasts until the spell ends. If the creature has more than 1 head, the globe of air appears around only one of its heads, which is all the creature needs to avoid suffocation, assuming that all of its heads has the same respiratory system.
Interesting.
Galvis on the August 16th of 2022 comments, "Fuck bards," apparently.
Would Glint also know about the water breathing spell, which is 1 level higher?
Ooh, for the 20 fucking 6, sure you fucking do. You know about the water breathing spell.
Okay. Glint would note both of those. So the 2nd circle spell, there's just like a single little bubble. Is just sort of a temporary fix for one
You
person.
cannot cast it.
Absolutely can't cast it. Now, there is a 3rd circle, more advanced version that the cool wizards made.
I can cast that one. I can cast
my
that one
God.
right now.
Yes?
It would mean I would be able to cast 2 more, 1 more spell from the 3rd circle, because 1 I tried to keep back. I don't
course.
keep that 1 spell back. Shit happens.
Now, if I get the formula for that one written down in my book, I can cast it as much as I want.
Above the table, can a druid write could I create a scroll? I didn't. Yes, I can.
Are you proficient in the Arcana skill?
I'm not.
Then you do not know how to copy scrolls, unfortunately. Anyone proficient in the Arcana skill and is capable of casting spells can copy a spell into a spell scroll so long as they have knowledge of that spell. So they either have it prepared or they have chosen it as one of their selected spells.
If Glint
I
can
can-
get permission to learn it from either Auora or anyone else that has it in a book, it would save a lot of money.
Certainly, because, I think it doesn't really require much of an insight check. the Tal'Dorei Council is, of course, going to go for the most affordable solution. If the coin mistress is worth her salt, and according to rumors, she is. So, yeah, she probably would be into air bubble and could probably be persuaded into a water breathing. But buying the entire party a round of magic items maybe is not quite as affordable as the one spell.
Be an investment of like 1,200 gold versus 150, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, then we should maybe that's what we should write. Can we have a scroll of water breathing? Is that what we're asking for, yeah?
Or if anyone has it written in their book and is willing to lend the time for it. Whichever one works.
I don't know how to write spell scrolls. I'll learn it eventually. Been busy learning other things. But Yvaine will take out a piece of paper and get one of her quills out and start penning the letter to Auora.
Okay. And the red letter is basically saying, can we have a water-breathing scroll so that when we go into the potential ruins of Solar, we don't drown? Is that kind of a gist of the letter?
Yeah.
Roll me a persuasion
not
check.
Drowning.
15.
Do you give it to Beverly?
Yes.
She takes it and goes, oh boy! And she runs out with all the zest and excitement of a person who hasn't had a lot to do lately other than help Ember's mom out around the kitchen. And hops on her horse and sallies off into the city to go deliver her message.
She is very endearing.
She's a good kid.
Yvaine, dear, could you do me a small favor?
Yeah.
Can you leverage your new pen to make a copy of that map that we found in the cache? I'm assuming that you want the original, but I would dearly love to get a copy.
I would love to. And I will set out the map. And I will set out my quill. And I will say, hey, Roxy, would you copy that for me, please?
Oh.
The quill's name is Roxy because it was from a rock feather.
So as I've gathered, suddenly the little quill just sort of shimmers, and then you hear a little girl beside you say, "It's Leviosa, not Leviosa." And then it like shimmers to life. And that's definitely I gotta say, that's the command word. That's absolutely the command word. Canon, I'm sorry, that's what it's gotta be. It's in the magic, I don't know why. You have to say Leviosa. But anyway, there you go. And it appears to life, and it is happy to help you out and do some copying for you. It does it quite quickly.
Thank you very much.
No, it's great. I love it. It's the best. Oh, hey, Winter's Crest is coming up. How would you feel about my terraforming the roof? We could make like a nice little food forest. Like your mom made you made cherry pie and apples, so we could have like little planters for that. And all the herbs you like to use when you cook and such, and maybe some of the more obscure things for some potion making than I do. That would be very expensive to procure or difficult to find. I can just grow them here. I was thinking.
As far as I'm concerned, that's perfectly fine. The lady who makes the actual decisions is downstairs.
I'll ask her. All right, I wanted to ask you first. For security measures, I can grow roses around the top of the fence, right? But you would be amazed at how long and strong thorns can get.
Sweet. So you head downstairs to go ask. So you find Emma Van Zyl. She's talking to some of the clientele, and she sees you. She goes, "Oh, hello, Miss Yvaine. How can I help you today?"
Well, so, do you use your roof for anything?
Excuse me?
Your roof? Do you use it for anything right now?
Um, yes. I feel like this is a trick question. Is this a trick question?
No, it's just you live on the docks, and that makes it difficult to say grow your own produce and such. But
That's true.
I'm pretty nifty with plants, and you've a good bit of space on your roof. I could actually just use a bit of wood and stone to terraform your roof. Yeah. And then there are a number of trees, like fruit trees generally don't have very deep roots, so we could create pots for them. And we could have fruit trees, and you'd be able to cultivate your own fresh fruits and such. And we could have whatever herbs you like for cooking, and different vegetables that would come into season. I could even leave you like little notes of how to take care of things if I'm not here.
Okay. I admit I only understood a little bit of that, but you basically want to create a garden on the roof.
Yes.
Okay. Um, okay. Is this going to cost me anything? Is this going to damage the roof?
It's a gift, and no, it won't damage anything, I promise.
I see. Okay. A very interesting offer. I will think about it. Thank you
Okay.
very much for the offer. Could you do me a huge favor and send Ember down when you head back up?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you.
She'll say, Ember, your mum must talk to you.
Okay. And then I will excuse myself to the basement or the first floor.
And is Cressida by any chance back in there?
I'm afraid she's out questing, my friend.
Right.
She's joined an adventuring party and has quests of her own to do, it seems. But she'll be around, not to worry. Okay, you head downstairs,
Yeah.
and your mother looks at you, Ember, and says, "Hi, honey. You're so much more magical than me these days, and your friend has just asked me to do something. If she could do something called terraforming. I don't know what that is."
She wants to build a nature retreat with some plants and flowers and that sort of thing. We happen to have some roof space that she could utilize to that end. It would be a boon to the inn, in that some cooking herbs and some light fruits and vegetables may be periodically available.
Okay. She
while
did bring that kind of thing up.
while we're here, I'm certain that she would watch and tend to it. But it would be something that would need upkeep.
Hmm.
But we can underwrite paying someone to upkeep it when we're not
I
here.
mean, no, absolutely. I mean, after after that little dinner that we had, business has been flowing in. We would certainly have the funds to hire that sort of thing, that sort of gardeners, maybe a couple of gardeners. The last thing I'll ask you is, and then of course, honey, I don't mean any offense by this, but Do you trust your friend's ability to do so, to do this thing?
She's with the Earth Ashari. They're
Oh, right, right.
they're that is exactly her specialty.
Okay. Excellent. Next time you see her, tell her I said go right ahead, so long as the building doesn't get damaged at all.
And I will pinch the earring and whisper to Daenerys. Mom says, "Go ahead, just don't break anything." Bless you, multiple times.
Thank you. Sorry, I was hay fever. I'll be right back. Actually, let's go to break for a moment if you guys don't mind.
Okay.
Cool. We'll be back. The paladin is never late. Because the paladin never arrives in the first place. He's too busy smiting evil somewhere else. All right, we'll get to it. It's been a long break. Sorry for the surprise break there. I sneezed half my brain out of my face. I apologize. But anyway, that was more details than perhaps you needed. Yeah, you guys are continuing. You've sent Beverly off. Yvaine has been given permission to terraform the Rousing Spark. Is there anything else you guys would like to do this evening?
I have a laundry list.
Oh man, let's do it.
Now once Roxy gets done with the map copy, I'm going to bring a drink over to Jasper's table, and
Okay.
we'll hand that to him and the copy of the map.
All right, and just as a reminder, what is this map?
It's map of the sewer systems of Emon that came out of the Dragon's cache.
Understood. You bring over a drink and a map, and he goes, "Oh, what do we have here?"
Oh, just something we ran across when we were dealing with the scaly bastard. I thought it might be useful.
I see. And he'll look it over. And you'll say, "I'll be sure to pass this along." Are you sure, Mr. Ember, you have no interest in joining our organization? You seem to be quite a how do I put this? Quite a bucket of lore, of useful information. You know, our organization very much values secrets, and you seem to be full of them.
I appreciate the thought and the offer, but it would be best if I didn't.
If you say so, offers on the table. You're always coming to us with goodies and all.
I appreciate that. You are doing me a good turn by watching after this place when I am not otherwise available.
Oh, there you go.
So I think it's a little quid pro quo.
I'd say a little more than quid pro quo at this point. Your mother pays her fees, and you come in with all these little side benefits of yours. But I will certainly not say no, and be assured that my superiors know where the information is coming from.
I appreciate that. Not absolutely necessary. I value our relationship.
Ooh, humility and general good morality. Ooh, maybe not class material after all. You ain't see it.
I do quite happily cavort with the end of cards.
Oh, I see. I see. I see. Well, there's always different ways of helping out. You don't necessarily need to bring all of your fine fellows aboard. Could just be a little me and you thing, all of course. Could be goodies on the side for you for it.
I I I don't want to. I don't want to stress existing relationships.
All right, very well, very well.
We've had a bad turn with that. I'm certain that you may be familiar with the name Jewel from Western.
Oh. Oh, at this point, I assure you my organization is well aware of that little pest.
Yes. Well, that was a little close to home.
I see. I see. Yes, well, it does indeed sound like you have a complicated relationship with the underworld of things, but should your relationship with it become a little more simplified, you'll always be welcome. You know, we can find an arrangement. Very clever that way. But yeah, we'll appreciate how things exist for now, if that's the way you want it, but the rousing spark remains well and truly protected, and very, very, the class remains very thankful for your many contributions.
You are entirely welcome.
Why don't we at least say we owe you one? And you can see, perhaps, just how beneficial a relationship with us could be.
I will keep that in mind.
Alright. Don't go asking for the whole of Whiterun or nothing, though, alright?
That is not my nature or predilection.
No, I don't expect it is. You'll probably have us fighting on the front lines of some holy war or something. That's what you want.
No, that's someone else's to-do task.
I'll be interested to see what your kinds of tasks are then, Mr. Emerald.
Well, can I get your associate anything? I know that he is usually a coffee drinker when he's watching.
Oh, don't worry about him. He's Dwendalian. He's not a very kind fellow.
Ah, okay.
Yes, don't worry about him. He takes care of himself.
Well, you have yourself a lovely evening and enjoy your stay.
And to you, sir. And to you. All right. I will say, as much as these are little kindnesses you're giving Ember, I am keeping track of the party's alignment with the various factions, and let's just say the class thinks you guys are pretty cool as of late. Since the start of this adventure, you guys have been very like their silent partner, and they've noticed. So, at the very least, you gain that. Incredible. Yeah, is there anything else anyone would like to do with their evenings?
Glint's going to take the time to find his room, and assuming there's like a writing desk present, he's going to pop down his original spellbook on one side, flip it open, and then pop down the arcane grimoire on the other, and flip it open as it's currently blank. And he's going to start the very long process, so it's just going to be a little step towards it today, of beginning to copying over his spells from one to the other, so that he has both have his kind of collective knowledge in them.
Fair enough. It's always good to have a backup. So, absolutely. Yeah, you begin to make your copying. Very nice. Man, the stimulating life of a wizard.
Of student loans and horrible arcane debt.
Yep, and rigorous copying.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I can get 4 hours of the about 35 that I'll need.
Incredible. I imagine the first semester of the Alabaster Lyceum is just scribing, like
Yeah.
old text into new ones. Just and the sheep went over the fence, and the sheep went over the fence, and then two men came and just like,
What I
oh, I've got to do
appreciate-
5 more copies before the end of semester. It's
yeah,
fucking ridiculous.
it's canon for the mechanics of a wizard that all wizards have their own arcane shorthand that they record spells in, and it's cheaper to copy your own spells, and that really just means that all wizards are just doctors looking at each other's bad handwriting.
That is true. I remember 3.5. I believe every wizard spellbook was considered to be personally encoded.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it was
Yeah, you had to like break the
3.5.
cipher basically.
Yeah, if you wanted to copy a book, you had to break their cipher, which I think is fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there is a feat for that, actually. There's like
A linguist, yes.
Yes, linguist. You could, if you got linguist, you can make your entire spellbook coded.
My
It's pretty
evoker used to do that.
cool. That's super cool. That's super cool.
Mhm.
Fantastic. You go ahead and do that. Anybody else have stuff to do this evening? Yes, Yvaine?
Is Crusader back?
Okay, let me roll for it. It seems that whatever quest she's on with Balthazar and Camellia and Alistair remains very busy. However, Yvaine, as you're like, sitting around the tavern, looking a little lost, hoping your friend shows up to talk to you, you see someone else enter the tavern. The door slams open. There's a little shower of some sort of glowing, almost fireworky, little like metallic-y lights. And stepping through the door is the most grand and magnificent model in all of Emon. You see, I believe his name is Karzi, step through in his boisterous, well-built form. And some people, and there's immediately there's no cameras, but there's still like as he steps in. And he goes, "No, please, stop. Okay, maybe, okay, just a little more. Okay, very well. Indeed, it's me." And he will glamour about the celebrations for a little while, until finally he proclaims, "I was led to believe that this is a niche tavern for rather accomplished adventurers here in Emon. I request to speak to one."
Yvaine will stand up. I don't know who else is here. Who else is here right now? Is Finch here? Finch must be here.
Yeah, I'd be
Who else
there.
would be in the? Yeah, Finch is there. Who else is in the tavern tonight?
Ancestor
I get-
striving.
After I get done talking with our friends from the class, I'm actually headed out.
Okay, fair enough. So you're busy. But yes, you stand up. And
Is
he's
Finch around? Serious? No, really.
Finch said they're around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yvaine would have if Yvaine wasn't already next to Finch, Yvaine would have gone over to Finch and been like, "All right."
I can't believe that I don't have a handout for the bastard. I will begin making one immediately because Lord knows he deserves one. Such a fabulous Dragonborn as there ever has been. But just as a reminder, especially for Glint the description, you see this somewhat heavy set, not too heavy set, but sort of Gilmore heavy set. Wears it very well. His shirt is very open. He bears it proudly. But he wears pastels and yellows and greens and pinks and purples. And he is a gorgeous, just a beautiful brass dragonborn man. He is big and he is bigger than life and he is gorgeous. And as you stand up, Yvaine, and sort of grab your emotional support paladin, he goes, "Would it be you? You are an adventurer. Oh yes, that is an adventurer right there. Haven't I seen one?" Points at Finch, and sort of sachets through the tower of Finch.
And then
Is this
Yvaine
Jack
sits-
Sparrow? Is Jack Sparrow?
Yvaine sits next to Finch, like just right next to Finch, but like
Hello there.
No, he's not very. Jack Sparrow's very like I'm constantly drunk. But I think Karzi is very much like more intentional, like runway. You know.
Oh, I see.
A little more vogue about it. I would say.
Would I know who this is?
No check
You've seen this
required.
before.
Being a local of Emon,
Right.
no check required. This is none other than Karzadrawn Sunscale, who is the biggest model in all of Emon. He's done all kinds of advertisements for the Alabaster Lyceum, for the Tal'Dorei Council. He's currently in cahoots with Gilmore's Glorious Goods. All of the biggest establishments have some ads with this guy. He's Mick Jagger. This guy's the rock star of models. But yes, he struts up to you, and he says, "You are a bold-looking one, aren't you?
Nice to meet you. How can we help you
Proper
tonight?"
warrior, proper adventurer."
And I'll put my hand out, like shake his.
And he will put his hand in yours like this.
Oh, okay. And I feel like at first, like, I will go to like shake it, but then like, just understanding like different greetings, like I will kiss it.
And he looks very pleased that you do, and he takes it back. He goes, "So charming, indeed. That is everything I am looking for. You might be just who I'm looking for. Tell me, you are an adventurer, no?"
Yes, we are.
Yes!
Both myself and my compatriot here, and I'll like gesticulate to Yvaine.
"Oh, indeed, a pleasure to meet you as well."
And Yvaine will take his hand and like do her best impression of Shirku and
Okay, all right. Lay out the charisma. Go. Why don't you roll me a little charisma check? You
She's gonna
cheeky
try.
bastard. Yeah, give it a shot.
It's a 16.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
That ruse.
Never is. And he takes it and he's like, "Oh, two such charming adventures. You adventure together then? Perhaps you might tell me your adventuring party."
We are the Auora Concordant. Is there something?
Auora Concordant.
Yes. Is there something that we can help you with?
Yes, such Auora Concordant. What a name! It falls right off the tongue, doesn't it? It's oh, what is more amazing than the sky and the lights from the sky? A concordant. Oh, it's so Marquesian. Oh goodness. Oh no, sorry. It's so Menagerie Coast. That's it. Oh, I love it. All right, you will do. Excellent. I must say, I am. You've probably heard of me. I am, of course. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Karzadrawn Sunscale, also known as Karzi, Emon's top model. But I find my. Sorry.
We saw you once. You were at Gilmore's. You were doing business. We didn't want to disturb you, but yeah.
Oh,
You are very hard to miss.
Oh, thank you very much for saying so. And how kind of you to give a celebrity their space. We are only normal people. Some people forget that we are just normal people trying to live our lives. We have our own stresses. You know, we get a little burdened by all the attention sometimes. We have business to deal with. I can see that you're considerate folk, and I like that. I like that a lot. Oh, we're going to get on so well.
You?
Yes, of course, I run away with myself, so you'll have to forgive me. I am bored. You see, maybe bored is the wrong word, but you see, I've got a twinkle in my eye, an ace up my sleeve, and I intend to use it. And I feel a need. You see, Emon is the city of fellowship, and what greater fellowship was there than Vox Machina so long ago? And there's adventurers running left and right, and I need a slice of the action. I need a slice of it, I do. So, I would like to join your adventuring company for a brief time, if that is possible.
And I'll look at Yvaine.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like you should know what we're into right now. Like, that's
Yeah,
great.
I think-
And I'm loving the energy. I am. I love everything about it.
Thank you,
But
darling.
I feel
like the energy we've
you
created in the
need to
studio
hear
today.
the disclosure. Yeah. We just want to read the fine print for you. Because
Ooh, I bet.
people who connect with us end up getting like maimed and disfigured and dismembered, and it's
Good.
like
Good. I
one
can't wait to
person
see it
lost his
all.
ability to be able to propagate
My
his
goodness.
Consent is important.
yeah,
I feel like we just need
you
to have a
should-
proper consent conversation.
we just want we need
I
we
consent,
need
baby. I consent. I
enthusiastic
want
consent.
it. I want it all.
Right,
I
and
want to
that
see the
can't be without
maimings.
informed. So
I want to see the nutcrackers. I want to see it all. I want to be fully immersed in it.
Okay.
You have only but excited me. You have invigorated me with excitement. Oh, how can I ever repay you?
Well,
I'm sure you will down the line. That's the way of adventurers, isn't it? We scratch each other's back, don't we?
forgive our ignorance. What is it that you do in combat situations?
I was just
I
about to ask
know.
that. I was just about to ask.
No offense taken at all. Of course, I would not expect you, of course. It would be irresponsible to join an adventuring party without some sort of ability to defend yourself offensive. Well, I have a secret. And as I said, I have an ace up my sleeve that I intend to use. I, much like the glorious Gilmore himself, am a rune child sorcerer. Yes, I am. And as he snaps his fingers, you're going to see his body sort of alights with various just exotic arcane runes that shoot up his chest and arms, and much like Gilmore, a shining bright white eye appears in the middle of his head, and he sort of there's a little prestidigitation sparkles sort of shimmer around him. He says, "Did I make the cut?"
Oh my!
Very impressive.
Thank you.
So I'm a druid. I grow stuff and heal stuff and finish the sort of the front line, and I don't know what Z-Hob is. Z-Hob sort of
The front line,
in and out.
healing, Z-Hob, I love it.
All these words.
What is a Z-Hob? What are these verbs you speak of?
He's a hobgoblin. He's our friend. He's our ranger. So look, here's the deal. I believe we're going under the city of Emon into a place called the Crystal Fen Caverns to see the unseeable city, and it's unseeable because it's going to drive us mad the moment we see it. And we're doing it because we have the pages of a journal of someone who dreamed about this and went mad. Did I get it right?
That's a pretty sufficient summary, I feel like.
Yeah, so I just feel like you should really take all of that. Like, we almost die a lot. And I just want you to breathe with that.
Yvaine, you've already got me. You need to stop trying to sell me, dear. You've already won me over.
I mean, all right, yeah, no,
like...
that's welcome.
I am ready for magic and healing and front lines and swords and maimings and bowl cracking and disfigurements. I can't wait to see it all.
Oh, but you want to risk ruining that pretty face?
Don't be ridiculous. I'll stand in the back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes. Magic is
Oh,
best
no, he'll
cast
stay
from
back
the
with me.
back. is what
No,
I'm
it'll be
told.
fine. Oh my god, you'll be in the back with me! It's gonna be great! Yay!
It's going to be so much fun! Oh my god!
And they just start doing this squeak.
I can wait! This is the adventure of a lifetime! A Madden City! There's going to be K-Hobbs! There's going to be blue hair! Drow!
Oh my god! Yvaine has a sassy gay friend!
Yes.
You're damn right, sister.
I love it so much.
Oh,
Hold on, do
boy.
you get the
Spin-off.
reference of sassy gay of the sassy gay friend?
Isn't that like?
It is a reference to a particular SNL skit. I will send it to you when the session is over.
Oh,
Yes.
sure. I thought it was just
Oh,
like
that's-
a very large cinema convention / real life convention. But I'll see the SNL skit. But anyway, yeah, this most interesting individual who I do already have a mini ready for, because let's be honest, he's going to show up eventually. It's too fabulous not to. You can't just stay. You can't hide a
I was
person.
gonna say, does he have a mini?
Yeah, he's got a fucking mini there. He just look at him. Look at him. Look at him all magicked up.
Oh, well, take a minute to admire.
Yes, you'll have to introduce. Is it just you two? I hope it's not just you two.
You hope it's not just us two. It is not just us
You
two.
two, of course,
We
are
have several-
magnificent, but you are so exciting. You must venture with even more interesting individuals. I want to see more.
We do, in fact, have other compatriots. They are out
Yes.
doing different duties. They should be back later today, I think.
You'll have to introduce me. I cannot wait.
We shall.
Incredible. In the meantime, and let's get a round of drinks over here. Yes, please. Yes, please. And he'll buy you guys drinks, and we'll be very excited to have been sort of invited himself along for this adventure. I didn't think I was gonna like this NPC as much as I do. I just kind of.
Oh no, he's great.
He's great. I just didn't know what was gonna happen when he appeared. I just kind of let the improv take over. But anyway,
I'm Karzi and I'm here.
I'm
Yes.
Karzi, and I know it, baby.
Can he just walk around with that spotlight that you put on him, like all the time? Yeah, that-
Figaro, and he has like a little like familiar who just runs around with like a hooded lantern that just right down on top of him. Yes, excellent. Cool. So Karzi will go along with this adventure. I can see your immense joy over there, Zarvolg. You're just going, oh god.
Is he just like in the corner observing all of this?
Him and Fen are just in the corner,
No.
like.
Oh yeah, just above the table.
Now they'll be in the morning to give their response, but they after a day in the Cloud Top district, they decided to have
Too
some
much
quiet
people.
time at the arena for the evening.
All right, head to the arena.
Too much
Cleve
people.
sort of gives you like a backhand, like not like an actual punch or anything like that, but gives you like a little, like in the stomach where you took your cut. You're like, ugh. Like it's healed, but it still hurts. And he's like, good, and just kind of starts, and he's like, all right, you got the second wind. He's like, you got the second wind down. Let's see if we can't make you surge into something a little bit more potent. See if we can get you in the right action. And he'll start taking you through the paces of action surge.
All
and try
right.
and teach you those lessons. Where basically he shows you, basically in the same concept of the second one, where you just sort of, find your second stride. It's about pushing yourself to your next limit. Rather than defensively, it's more physically. And tries to help you apply the power of second wind to an offensive capability. And yeah, that goes pretty great. Cleve will say to you at the end, though, Zarvolg, he'll say, so I've heard around that you're asking about how to be a leader of warriors in combat.
Well, I had some downtime healing. I figured I should learn a little bit more of the philosophy of fighting.
Ah. Wise. I suppose. Wise. You want to be a leader, Zarvolg? Want to lead men in the battle?
I'd like to be somebody that's respected amongst its men, yes.
He sort of grumbles. and just kind of like goes into his next sword movement and just kind of drops the subject and continues to show you the way of the blade.
Oh,
But it seems quite a yeah.
I'll show him my new sword that I got. He hasn't seen it yet.
He looks at it and gives you that like, just gives you like a little nod of like, good, yes, approval. And he does approve of your now much more dexterous blade, and will, yeah, because you had been watching the scimitar movements, and now that you have like a proper magical scimitar, he's like, good, good, and he'll kind of try and adjust his movements to show you like scimitar movements, though he does favor the two-handed blade.
Sure.
Fantastic, fantastic. Ember, you said that you were off to some business in the city.
Indeed. So, I've got 2 stops for the evening. The first is the Temple of Avandra.
Right, Temple of Vondra. Absolutely. Let's go take a look if Emon has a Temple of Vondra. I know they definitely have a holy site or a small temple. I don't think they have a major cathedral there, but let's find out. Oh, no, really? There we go. Yeah, you go to the temple district, and again, there's no temples per se, but much like the Everlight sort of had this park that was sort of just dedicated to her and area of peace. You do find again, it's sort of like a park-like space that is dedicated to the Changebringer. It seems to be almost like a hospice. Not a hospice. What's the word I'm looking for?
Hostel.
A hostel. Thank you. God, thank you so much. That would have hurt me. But yes, it's a sort of open air hostel. There are sort of like camps around. It's not at all like a beggar's quarter by any means. It's very well put together. There are priests wandering here and there. It's by no means like a food bank or anything like that, but it's very much a place where travelers seem to come, merchants seem to come. There's even a couple of like gamblers' games going on here. It's just sort of like, it's almost more gypsy-esque, where there's like a lot of people around, travelers from all over who are here just sort of enjoying the company of various foreigners and merchants and gamblers and individuals who would enjoy the Changebringer's blessings.
I'm kind of look around for one of the priests, and I will walk on up and say, "Good evening. Would you have a moment to talk?"
So, I will say this, Ember. There are 2 choices. You can go up to any one of these priests, absolutely. But you do notice somebody else who, upon the power of a nat 20, is also here that you've met on the road before. You meet, let me just whip out her name super quick. But you met her on the road. You see Fiona Bolmhand. Fiona Bolmhand, the gnomish cleric of the Lawbearer that you met on the Silvercut Crossroads during that little invasion. So she hasn't noticed you yet, but you see her around. If you would care to speak to her, you don't have to.
I will go absolutely and say hello.
She turns around to see you with surprise. She goes, "Oh, Ember, it's so good to see you again. It's good to see that you made it to Emon."
Yes, we made it here, and all is well. I see that you and your folks have made it here as well. I hope that you didn't have any further problems.
No, we were quite all right. That that drow fellow, no, he was very helpful in sort of getting us all on our way. And by the grace of the Changebringer, we all found our way to Emon. There's some of us around here, actually, who are still who are about. But it's good to see you. You must have made it far ahead of us.
We've been here long enough to have been busy in the way that we tend to be busy.
Oh, well, that's great. I'm glad to hear.
There may have been a dragon. It may no longer be an issue.
A dragon. Wow.
Indeed.
You certainly have, well, good fortune.
It's a boon and a blessing. That's one of the reasons that I find myself seeking.
Oh,
And I have questions and concerns to a degree, and I'm looking for a sense of meaning.
oh, incredible. Please take a seat. She sort of glows. You get the sense she gets a lot of joy of helping people, whether that's just advice or something a little more physical, but she seems quite happy to be of assistance. And she says, so you find your way to Evondra's place of worship.
I do. For a variety of reasons. My nature is very tightly bound with fire, and I see that as an agent of change. And it was several weeks ago that we were in a trying set of circumstances, not unlike where we met you and after we got into here. And I felt something new blossom. And, unlike what I'm acclimatized to, it was very different. And very much a sense of change. Normally fire is a little caustic. But I was able to find ways to bring a sense of well-being to people who were hurt and injured, and that's outside of my area of understanding. It happens by need and necessity, but a lot of what I do is by intuition, more than book learning or something of that nature.
Oh.
And I don't have a theological background to understand from whence this comes or why. And certain that part of it has got to be up to me to explore and to come to my own understanding, but a measure of guidance, I think, would be not ill placed.
No, very interesting set of circumstances, and it sounds like your party has had remarkable, well, good luck on their journey, having a measure of success, and you've come here. It sounds to me that you may have just been brought here by Evander herself, or somebody compelled you to be here. I don't want to insist upon my own god, but you're feeling fire is an element of change, and I very much agree. And it sounds like that you, alongside your group of friends, has been creating a great deal of change. Your magic comes to you. I mean, I've heard of instances of, sorcerers come from all different places. And if you're gaining magic from the moment or feeling, that's very much a sorcerer thing. You might have a little Evandra in you, or maybe one of her many angels. It could be any number of reasons, but I would be more than happy to help you discover the truth if you want. If you have some kind of divine sorcerer abilities, I'd be more than happy to help you investigate.
That would be lovely. My mother and I are both Genasi, and where I understand fire on a elemental level, it doesn't hold a great deal of surprise for me, and it is very much a tool by which other things can get done, be it protecting or sustaining, via hearth and home. That I understand. The wellspring of the other, truth be told, has me perplexed. So any understanding that we can find would be fantastic.
I see. Well, I'm a humble cleric, and this is certainly my whole thing is helping out with these feelings around Evandra. I'd be more than happy to tell you about her, but if I may say so, we refer to her as she who makes the path. And there's people debate fate and self-control and how much the gods have control over us and whatnot, but I think I have a feeling that we've been brought together a couple of times for very good reason. Maybe by Evandra's own hand. Maybe I'm meant to help you, and I'd be more than happy to. So I'll tell you what, give me some time, and I'll see about getting in touch with some of the higher priests here in Tal'Dorei. Or better yet, as you are an adventurer, maybe you might wish to yourself. There is a couple of places that have important relevance for Evandra. There is a temple known as the Horizon Temple in Whitestone, dedicated to Evandra, if you would be interested in learning a little bit about her there, if you ever find yourself. And then there's all kinds of other places that hold interest to Evandra. She's worshipped all along the Lycidian coast, so you're going to have no trouble finding tons of people to talk to, and I recommend it. I'm going to do everything I can to help you. But talk to other people. You yourself, you might be interested in talking to merchants or gamblers or whatnot. And all of them have all fates bound up in Evandra. And we all have a path to walk, but it's up to us to decide which path to walk. So I want to give you something, and this is something that a lot of people like when it comes to Evandra. So I'm going to give this to you. She goes into her pocket and she produces a rather large silver coin. And on it, or actually, sorry, it's a gold coin. It's a gold coin, but rather than the traditional, the traditional Tal'Dorei gold, minted Tal'Dorei gold, it has the face of a woman with sort of beautiful hair, a little flower in her hair. And she says, okay, this is a coin of the Changebringer. One is heads and one is tails on the other side, and some people enjoy having it on them as a little token of Evandra to have on their person, a good luck charm, or some people like to flip them to make decisions, and you can use it for whatever you want. Maybe it just stays in your pocket. But I thought I'd give this to you, and maybe it's a start, and I'll see about trying to think about some stuff about your lineage or how this could have come about how such a sorcerer as yourself is created. But this is a very exciting journey, and I hope you are excited as I am.
I'm feeling much more, I don't want to say hopeful because I wasn't not hopeful, but I feel a degree of anxiety lifted.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, Savandra, she's a great goddess. There's some gods that are a little intense, not to point any fingers, but, Bahamut's a pretty intense god, with big protection and knightliness, and Cord is very, war and competition. It's very aggressive and, but Evandra, she takes many forms, and you don't need to. All you need to do is put one foot in front of the other, and you'll know that you're walking the way Evandra would want you to. Is just forward in whichever way you feel is right.
Thank you so very much.
Welcome. Come back sometime, and I'll tell you what I found out. But I'll ask around and see what I can find out for you.
Thank you. I may, while you're here in town, I don't know if you have other arrangements, but my mother and I, well, mostly my mother, run a tavern down in the docks ward. You are more than welcome to stay there, and I will make sure that you have a room available if you need or want one.
Oh, that's incredibly kind. Thank you, Ember. I admit I do get by on charity, so I will happily accept it.
Well, allow me to be a good host then.
Well, thank you very much. I'll be very happy to. Let me just talk to some of the people around here and let them know where I'll be. But I'd be more than happy to stay at your tavern. Thank you very much for the charity.
You're very welcome. I will make the arrangements as soon as I get back there. I've got one other stop to make tonight, and then I will be headed back. So I will hopefully meet you there.
Excellent. Let me give you one more thing, just in case you might find yourself with some spare time. And she'll rummage through her bag, and she's going to give you essentially what is like a book of prayers of Evandra. It's not like the Holy Bible or anything. It's not like I don't know. It's not like super intense reading, or certainly not Old Testament or anything like that, where it's like kind of crazy. But it's just like a little bit about Evandra, her commandments, her persona, how she works her magic into the world. It's just like a primer on Evandra, just to kind of like, if you wanted to read it, you could.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. I'll see you there very soon. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And she'll go back around and talk to some people here and there. And as you're leaving, you might notice that there is a big, beautiful statue of Evandra. You see this. It's in marble, but it is this sort of meant to be this. You can tell by her facial features, meant to be this sort of darker skinned woman, younger, hair done up very beautifully behind her head, full of flowers and gold and other elements, and is wearing like a very nice long dress. And she's just there's something, despite all of the jewels and sort of accoutrement. There's something sort of humble and peaceful and serene about her appearance. She's youthful and almost adventurous in her appearance.
Is there an offering box?
Yes,
there
there's an
near?
alms box. Yes,
I'm gonna put something into it.
fantastic. How much do you put in?
50.
50 gold. That will be. Avandra's like, nice, from up above. Incredible. And then you can head off to your other appointment if you wish. Yeah, as it seems like everyone else has their night settled up, let's just finish up with you, Ember.
Okay. Asterix mentioned that he was coming here. So I would imagine he has rented a place in the high end
Such as
the
he
high
is,
end
such as he
area.
is. Yes, 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 yes.
So I'm going to go seek him out with 2 pot pies in a basket.
Incredible, no problem. Yep, off to see Granny. Hopefully won't run into any wolves. Speaking of which, no, it's fine. Yeah, you go wandering the streets of Emon with your... Perfect. As you're wandering towards the upper district, you're going to try and find his presence. It's getting a little later. The sun's going down. The streets are clearing out. These 2 burglars jump out of an alley and go, "Give me your basket!" With like a shitty little dagger. Come on, hand him over.
I will just wave one hand because it's a bonus action to cast Flame Blade. Choose better.
Make an intimidation check.
$16.
16, they go. And not another word, they just dash right back down the alley. Maybe you hear as they're running off a little like, he was even wearing armor or nothing, he had a mustache. Good day, just couldn't get in. They just run off into the night. And you continue your journey. Make me an investigation check to see if you can track down Asterix this time or not.
11.
11. We'll say you go wandering around, you're asking here and there, and you find yourself to, what's it called? The sort of where Finch's family lives, which I believe is the Eurodite Corridor? Yes, the Eurodite Corridor, which is the sort of higher end part of town. Sorry to say that you don't track down Asterix tonight.
That's okay. Then I'll just circle around and head back home.
Check a couple taverns. No one under that name, but he's around. He's probably around.
Not to worry.
Circle back home. Fantastic. So we'll say, Vincent's rooms, Zarvolg's hanging out at the thing. Ember, you enter and you kind of like look around, and you see off at the usual table is Finch and Yvaine, sort of bemused by this brass dragonborn you've seen once before, and have known from the many ads around Emon, because you are a local after all. And you do see Emon's top model sort of carousing with Finch and Yvaine, and they're laughing gregariously and spilling drinks and having a good time. And Emma's sort of like catches eyes with you, and she's like she does one of those.
I'll walk up to the bar and I say, "Give me one of what they're having."
Okay, yes, right. And she'll absolutely hand you those. She's the business, you're the charisma.
And I will also hand her 50 gold.
Okay.
I have a friend who's coming, a little gnomish lady. She'll be needing a place to stay. This should cover her stay for a while.
For quite a while. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Ember, for letting me know. Do you have a name for her, just so I know?
Yes. Fiona Bombhand.
Okay, thank you. I'll be sure to find her room as soon as she gets here. And you can take your drinks over if you wish.
Yep.
To which Karzi's hanging out with Glint and Yvaine. Karzi says, and then I told him to fuck off. And then you arrive at the table, Ember. And he says, "Oh, who is this? Perhaps the patron of the bar?"
Well, that's really my mother. I'm just the hired help.
Oh, well, a pleasure to meet you, sir. May I say, a fine mustache. You make me wish all Dragonborn could grow facial hair.
Thank you. It does take some management, but I find it well worth it.
Incredible. Well, what do you have there? Is that a round from another table?
No. I took it upon myself to make sure that your drinks were appropriately refreshed.
Well, thank you so much. Oh, what fine. This is such a fine tavern. How have I not heard about this? I did hear that there was a tavern serving dragon meat at some point here in the port. Could this be the very one?
I'll
It was.
point above the fireplace.
Of course! I thought it was a fake! But no! It must be real!
Very much so.
Ah,
And in fact,
oh,
you are sitting at a table with a pair of dragon slayers.
truly? Dragon Slayers? You two?
Indeed.
You have been holding out on me. Tell me everything.
Well, you see, and look, we'll go into like the story of like what happened.
Yeah, and Karzi laughs at the slightest joke. Karzi's just ready to have fun at any given moment. As Karzi believes that you're just a server, Ember, he still invites you to sit down and take part in the camaraderie. He's very much like a everyone join in kind of guy. He is not aware that you're a member of the party as of yet, but invites you nonetheless to come have a seat. And we'll be like, and he'll say, "Burned all along the side of the face? How unfortunate! Goodness! Oh, you're lucky you got out alive. I have to say that your complexion is divine."
This is true. Is Zar
Yeah.
like? Is he with us, or is Zar like still like at the table, like spying on us?
Zarvolg looks at the gods while you ride.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
he'll be around in the morning.
Yeah, he had enough people already for the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, too much peopling.
Exactly.
Battery low. But yes, my goodness, track. Oh, what am I? Hopefully not an ancestor of mine. No, of course not. It's red, isn't it?
Indeed so.
Indeed. Oh, magnificent. Oh, did you know, sir, that these two fine dragon slayers invited me along to join them on their next escapade?
Oh, really?
Yes, isn't it just such a
is that
flagrant kindness?
the subterranean exploration that they were talking about earlier today?
Indeed. There was some talk about madness and nutcracking and a Z-hobs. That verb still hasn't been explained to me, but I love it. I'm going to make it a thing in Emon.
They're probably referring to their friend Zarvolg, who is a hobgoblin.
Oh, that makes a ton of sense. So is it still a verb? Is it like... Is it sort of his patent verb? Is this like when Zarvolg does things, he's Z-hobbing?
That's a very good adjective.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
I cannot wait to meet the Zarvolg, the Z-hobbyist hobgoblin in all of Emon.
I love it so much.
He will absolutely be beside himself to meet you, I am sure.
Oh, most people are. But I think I'm going to like this hobgoblin. I've met a couple of hobgoblins, but none so charismatic sounding as this one.
He is quite charismatic.
I cannot. I certainly have put my eggs in the right basket.
Would Glint be able to come down during his scribing, basically for some kind of meal break, and to do some work at the table, just to not slowly go insane in his quarters?
Yeah, you come downstairs. You're like, can I have a glass of water? Yeah, you get yourself a meal.
And I'll lean across the table, and there's another one, Dragon Slayer.
He stands up from the table and says, "You, sir!" across the bar. And everyone
Glint-
sort of stops and turns their heads at you, Glint.
Glint freezes like a grainy photo of the Sasquatch. Hello.
Please come sit, Dragon Slayer. I've heard of your exploits.
Certainly, I'm doing homework at the moment. Do you mind if I write while we talk?
Be my guest. Who am I to tell you what to do?
Oh, excellent. And he'll toddle over to the table and sit down, stretching a little bit in his hands, and
Can I get you some leftovers, Glint?
that would be wonderful.
Fantastic. I'll make you a sandwich.
Thank you. I'll be at this for a while.
As Ember trails off, Karzi sort of leads across the table. He's like, "Isn't the service here incredible? This Ember fellow, he deserves a raise immediately."
You're correct. I think we probably failed to mention at some point that Ember is not only the son of the owner of this fine establishment, but he is also a part of our adventuring party.
Double gasp! My goodness!
Yeah,
But
he's
she's so
like
young
our
and
mastermind.
vibrant, and he's so also young and vibrant, but in the same way. And he's an adventurer too? Oh, Finch, you are naughty, aren't you? You pulled the wool over my eyes.
Go on. I mean, there is some explaining to do about the age. We can tell you that story another time. It's wild. It involves somebody hurting a book.
Yeah,
You know, I
it
haven't
involves
heard
a
that one myself.
baristro and a demon lord and a cursed portal.
Demon Lord and a cursed portal. It sounds like the start of a great joke. Or an even better adventure, perhaps. You know, I did hear about this one bardic song that's floating around Emon right now about such a thing.
That is more than likely.
That's probably us.
It's probably us.
That's probably us.
Yes, how did it go? It says the defense and twisted and curls, Morganelle and whistle, savage. Well, I can't remember. I have no mind for music.
That's pretty close. Yes.
That's us. That's us. Yep.
Oh, you have songs about you too? Do I get to be in one? I hope so.
If you're good.
Oh, I like to think I'm pretty good at certain things.
Yes, we have several other compatriots. One of them is a lovely bard who has been so kind as to write many a tale about our stories, which you have now heard.
I will have to.
Balthazar is so talented.
He is very talented.
He sounds like it's talented. But before we continue, Mr. Glint, do you have a last name?
Grimhelm.
Grimhelm, my goodness, what an adventuring name. Dwarves. Oh, they do say they are the original adventurers, don't they?
That we do delve very deep, I'm told.
Well, it is a great pleasure to make your acquaintance. Your three friends, as I've been snuck under me, have been a miraculous entertainment. And you seem to be quite the well-studied fellow. Are you the academic of the group?
One of them, Yvaine here, is also very much a historian and researcher of the arcane. If you want to know astronomy, navigation, such things, she would be the resident expert. I'm also something of a historian and more in the applied arcane.
I see. Grows not only plants, but perhaps in intelligent things very well. And
In
you
that
remember
moment, completely cutting Karzi off, almost like he didn't exist, she turns at Glint and she said, "So you knew who Clemaine Astral is, yeah? So you
Yes.
understood what you, you, you know what I did, yeah? You know what I gave up, yeah?
I do.
I'm not crazy, right? I could still be crazy. Someone should really vet me to make sure that I'm crazy, right? Like, that's the thing that should happen. But assuming that I'm not
Yes.
crazy, that was
Have-
a
have-
really underwhelming response to what happened, right? I am not misinterpreting. I am so sorry. And then she looks at Garci. I am
Well,
so sorry.
in fairness, Auora is an archmage. It's archmage, archmage. I've always been a little bit confused about that point. The
Yeah,
common's
I
a little
don't know
fuzzy.
either.
Like, like
I think it's arc, like archangel.
hmm,
Oh yeah, I bet it is. Just because it sounds cool.
it's true. I just always imagined they were oddly voltaic. So I imagine that she's dealt with similarly beyond the pale notions in her time a few times, but you nearly gave me a heart attack, if it's any consolation.
Right, but see, when I was at the Human Observatory and I spoke to Estelle, and she's the descendant of Uz Humanor, who was one of the band of brothers who actually took down Astral originally. Like,
They maintain the
it was literally,
vault.
yeah,
Yes.
no, I spoke to her. She was the one she was the one who told me what it was to begin with. I don't speak deep speech, so yeah, I guess my ignorance protected me. Who knew that was ever a thing?
Most
But I,
philosophers, I'm told. Apparently, it's bliss.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I just completely miscalculated the trauma of that particular reaction. I feel
Maybe
like I really bungled something.
If I may interject here, Yvaine,
I would love that because I'm drinking and I'm listening. You are very important, and I should not. I just totally squirred. I'm sorry.
That's
Sometimes
okay.
focus
I
is
just
a problem for me.
no, that's quite all right. What you're talking about is so fascinating. I wanted to show you something, Yvaine. You're fabulous, girl. You're wonderful, and more importantly, you could be fucking stark crazy. And who's to say that's a bad thing? I mean, you sound a little crazy, but shit, so do I.
You know something? You're right. Yeah.
it sounds like a perfect time for Ember to have come back with a with a brisket sandwich and an ale for Glint.
you are genuinely my savior in this moment. Thank you.
You're entirely welcome. And Yvaine, you are no more crazy than the first day I met you, when you walked into Stillbin wondering if it was Whitestone.
Oh my god, I was so lost. I was so lost. You know something? You're probably right about that.
Speaking of loss, Mr. Ember, you, I believe, have a confession to make to me.
I do?
You,
I-
sir, are not. There is not but 3 dragon slayers at this table, but 4. You are a part of this adventuring party, are you not?
Yes, I may have been there. I had very little to do with dragon slaying. My
He's. Yes.
My-
You're a modest one.
my contributions were more to mending flesh and physical well-being than it was anything more aggressive.
Yeah,
So
so
you're
to be
the
clear,
healer.
he and I were healing the people who were doing the dragon slaying. He also, in the middle of healing, was doing some civil engineering where he was blocking out the elemental plane of fire with the sheer power of physics and his brain. I feel like that's really important because he overlooks that shit.
My goodness.
But I was there and that
the,
happened.
all of the heavy thinking
This is the
for
most
that
niche
was
adventuring party I've ever heard of. Go
all,
ahead, please. Sorry, miss.
all of the heavy thinking was actually done by our companion Glint. He is an expert at rocks and faults and all of those good dwarven stone lore.
Looks
he-
mortified to be observed.
He
Observed
was
you
the
are.
one who was able to spot the exact spot to apply a small amount of force to plug a hole.
My
No.
goodness.
My-
Glint,
my-
we all have faults. Do not feel bad about it. But the rest of it is very, very intriguing.
Thank you. My expertise in holes notwithstanding, the idea and vision were entirely Mr. Ember's here. I simply provided some additional mathematics.
I see.
No!
Oh,
Bullshit! So Yvaine's had like 4 drinks at this point. No! That is not what happened! Because I was there, and there was a dragon, and it was breathing fire, and there were methods, and these 2 motherfuckers were doing physics, and Glint is like commanding an army of skeletons, and like Ember is throwing force around and doing physics and blocking the elemental plane of fire. It
my
was
goodness.
epic. Also, Ember was healing.
It is true.
My
Ember was
gods.
multitasking all over. It was quite impressive, and the healing you were directing through Happy here was likewise inspiring.
Oh,
I've always been a
Holy
little
shit,
jealous.
does
of
that
you.
hamster have a unicorn horn?
Yes.
That's an Almirage. Yeah, no, Happy. He's Happy. Come here. Come say hello to Kazi. So
Turns
Happy-
around with like half a muffin in his mouth that Emma's fed to him and like hops across the bar up to you. That's what Happy's always doing when we're not watching, he's just eating someone's food. And up here it comes back over and looks up at Karzi and continues to like Muffin goes, my gods, I have found the best adventuring party in all the 9 hells. Oh my goodness, this is going to be an adventure to remember. This will be my greatest work
Cool.
yet. Oh, and you're also humble. You're like, no, I didn't do it. It was him. And then he's like, no, it wasn't me. It was him. And he's like, no, it's like reverse anger. What's that called? Admiration. Yes, it's impressive. My God, if you're all this great, I cannot wait to meet this Zarvolg fellow. He sounds like the cream of the crop.
Oh, Zarvolg slayed 50 minotaurs all by himself.
50?
The songs all say it.
I can hardly believe what I'm hearing. You must be lying. You must be.
He stacked the bodies like cordwood.
It was incredible. I hid under one of them to throw healing at everyone else.
Oh, my goodness.
Well,
You compare... Yes.
to be fair, Zarvolg slayed 25, and his faithful hound did the other 25.
It's
He has a-
true.
Oh, the party's
It's
a dog?
true. He's such a good boy. He's such a good boy.
So let me get this straight. You have a Minotaur slaying dog. You have your leader is a charismatic, a single army monster of charisma and charm. Your Finch is a knight of Bahamut. Yvaine, you heal from under corpses. Glint then raises those corpses, and Ember does physics. It's incredible. I cannot wait to see what happens tomorrow.
We're glad to have you along.
We are glad to have you along.
It is good to be had. Cheers! Here's to you all, you beautiful bastards.
And Yvaine has her 5th drink.
Oh goodness.
We're gonna have to start Yvaine on coffee now.
cutting you off. Karzi says, Brother drinks for the whole bar. I'm rich, I tell you. And he'll buy a round for the whole bar, and you guys will eventually perhaps proceed to sleep at a certain point.
That sounds like a fair idea.
Karzi and Yvaine are like arm over shoulder, like, oh, another adventure up the stairs. And they like make their way. But yes, everyone finds their way to a good, nice, long rest, except for Yvaine. As you dream in your drunken stupor, you feel the presence of a tilted tower and eyes behind that tilted tower that are closed. Then that's all. It's a strange dream that you have that night. And you feel your eyes close and open again. And then you awaken. And that is all. You all wake up. Slight headache for Yvaine. A little headache. From the booze, mostly. The dehydration for the rest of it. Your trusty half-elf will be ready to go. More importantly, Beverly will have arrived that night. In fact, Finch, I'll say before you went to bed, Beverly would have showed up. She was gone for a couple of hours, but she does return, and she hands you 2 scrolls. I'm gonna post a handout of what is in the first one that has the official seal of the Tal'Dorei Council. And I'll read it too, why not? It says, Dear members of the Auora Concordant, your request for funding to acquire a scroll of water breathing from the Tal'Dorei Council has been approved. Should you require any further assistance or support, please do not hesitate to reach out. Warm regards, the offices of Coin Mistress Vexalia de Rolo. And in the second scroll is a scroll of water breathing.
Thank you, Beverly. I appreciate
Yes.
this. Not like tuck it away for now. Like I feel like inside I would just be like Vexalia de Rolo.
You're like, cool.
Hold on, above the table, I'm having a moment because, like, Vixalia wrote us a note, and I know, of course, she would write us a note, but she wrote us a note.
Right?
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
From
Finch would
her
definitely
very
play
offices.
Yeah. Finch would play cool, but then they would be like, hey, maybe she touched this.
You're like, oh my god, someone definitely brought this to Vexalia, and she definitely waved it off and said, sure. To our very thing that we wanted to have made fun for.
Exactly.
Is that the scroll?
Big secretly, but still creepily sniffs the note.
maybe a perception
I
check.
really just really you see them like like stick their tongue out like
No. Maybe a perception check as you sniff the scroll. Just like maybe it does.
I didn't say I was doing that, but okay.
No, but Z-Hop did! Zarvolg did!
Zarvolg
Alright.
does when he shows up. Zarvolg will run as well. Maybe you show up and go, cool, and smell it.
Yeah. 13.
13. It smells like very fine paper. It's really good, nice paper. It smells a little like wax. Yeah. Cool.
And then
Did you
I'll be
roll?
like, oh yes, this was the scroll, and I'll hand it over to Glint.
Everyone's like, what? Zarvolg, did you roll perception?
What? Oh no! I haven't shown up yet, or maybe I have, but I didn't mean to.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, you hand it off. And you guys can hand it around, and be like, ah! And like put it in your scrapbook and everything. You guys should totally have a scrapbook. That's hilarious. But yes, in the morning you will see Fiona Baumhan has arrived, and she'll say, "Oh, hello," to Yvaine and Finch and everybody. And she does she goes up to Emma and she insists upon helping in some way, whether it's She says, "I'm not the most magnificent cook, but I'd be happy to wash dishes." And Emma's like, "Oh, I don't think that will be necessary. You're a guest, please." And then Fiona like continues to insist, and like she'll leave her alone, not in an impolite way, but eventually will come back and insist upon it. This is kind of her way, and she goes, "If you want to, Fiona, you could sure for as long as you want, but you're not obligated by any means." And Fiona will go in the back and she'll wash some dishes and chat up the staff, and eventually go out into the bar. And she's just kind of like a helper. That's just how she is. She just wants to help. And then the half elf is sitting in his quarter table and is like just sort of like reviewing his research and going over his stuff. At a certain point, Finch, Beverly will come up to you. She'll go, so we're going on the big quest today or tomorrow or sometime really soon.
We do.
Do I get to come along?
Whew, that is a good question. It has the potential to be.
Sorry.
I know. No. It has the potential to be pretty dangerous. I'm not saying that you're not capable. I just want to make sure that you're well cared for, because if something were to happen to you, I would be most upset. With that said, I don't see how you're going to learn all just by us mimicking different combat here and there, and you learning through your studies. So, yes, you can come along.
Okay. You won't regret it. And besides, I'm your squire, and you may be the knight, but it's also kind of my job to protect you, and that's what Bahamut would want. So I'll do my best, and I promise I'll stay out of the way, and I'll do whatever you want.
I know you will. Like I said, we just don't really know what we're getting ourselves into, or it has the potential to be pretty dangerous. And it's not because of your lack of capabilities. It's because I want to make sure that you're safe. That's all. But as somebody who didn't really see a lot of the face of battle for quite some time into my squireship, I don't want to know what the correct word is.
I don't either. I don't think of it.
Squire.
Time as a squire.
Time as a squire. I think it's important for you to actually see versus, like I said, just mimicking and playing in a book. There is something to be said about, what's it called? Dueling
Practicing.
and mimicking things, but like sparring. But that only gets you but so far.
Right. And I've only ever really spared you, Finch. I mean.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'll. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep your armor really good and polished. I would sharpen your sword, but you carry around a hammer, and I'll do everything. Let me go get my stuff. And she
tend to your own things. Why don't we focus on that? So, why don't you prepare what you feel is best to go on an adventure?
Okay. Right. And she will run upstairs and start just basically prepping. Like, she's a pretty good squire. Like she does polish your armor and everything. She starts just prepping for the adventure. Incredible. Karzi's downstairs. He gets up at like a little bit like a half hour after everybody else. What does everyone else want to do this morning? As Zarvolg, maybe you come in the door at some point.
Yeah, I guess I'm ready to arrive now.
All right, you arrive. Karzi is like poking you. Yvaine goes, "Is that him? Is he the one?"
Yes, absolutely.
Karzi strides proudly across the tavern, right up to Zarvolg. Zarvolg, you see this beautiful, heavy-set brass dragonborn man in pastels that almost blind you upon appearance. And he goes, "Zarvolg, the hobbyist, as what I have been told you are, if you'd allow, I'd like to introduce myself to one so decorated and well accommodated as you. I am Karzadrawn Sunscales, but you may call me Karzi, Emon's top model. I must thank you, sir, for providing Emon with such spectacular talent as the rest of your adventuring party. Ember is is a mathematically incredible individual and such a fine host. Glint is humble, but so arcanely deaf, I can tell. Yvaine is just a ball of fun. She says she heals, but that's notwithstanding. And Finch just poses a figure, doesn't he? Well, I wanted to introduce myself and say thank you for having me along on your adventuring parties. Next quest.
So, until that point, the very last sentence, he's very much into it. He just assumes that this is an adoring fan. And the entire portion. He straightens up a little bit. He was a little morning groggy, but he loves to hear his own good praises. So he stands there listening to that very proudly, trying to look very tough and noble. And then he hears the last portion. And narrows his eyes and looks over at the table.
Yvaine is grinning. She has the biggest grin on her face.
And he kind of does the Clint Eastwood grumpy mumble.
Oh, and in undercommon, she says, "Good morning, fucker."
Another one. Did we not find another local grandma to accompany us?
I don't know what you'll say, but that is some language you have developed.
Oh, I have no idea either. I'm just assuming that Yvaine won this one.
No, usually we say like the most wretched insults to each other, and then it's not for polite company.
Well, that's what having another language. That's what being bilingual is for. I believe.
So, yeah. So he kind of grits his teeth a little bit and looks back at Karzi and says, "Did you say you're coming with us?"
Indeed, there was a unanimous decision from the rest of the party. I have been eager to make your acquaintance since last night.
I have to re-examine the word unanimous, apparently.
Well, unanimous, of course, except for you. But I assumed,
I
you
see.
wouldn't have it. Yes.
And what is your particular interest in this?
I am bored. You see, I require to use my powers. You see, I happen to be a rune child sorcerer. Once again, all the runes appear across his body. A little flare of magic in the air. And he says, "I am a sorcerer of no small amount of talent, and I have used my powers but in secret. You see, I would never allow them to cheat my way through the modeling game. But alas, I wish to use my power for good or ill, for fortune or misfortune. I want to see what I've got and what the world has to throw at me. And I want to have some interesting and beautiful individuals at my side. And your friends are indeed both."
Okay, I'm gonna need some breakfast. And he makes his way to the table.
Good morning,
And Karzi looks
Zarvolg.
quite happy with himself and kind of wanders off to go do something else
Right.
at the bar.
He's still snarling and sneering at every one of the members of the party that has apparently voted unanimously on this.
Here's your triple espresso.
Stop inviting people.
But it's just being a good neighbor. And besides, how do you expect to get your name around town as the future leader of the resistance to the Iron Authority, other than to have somebody who has some clout and some fame?
He does visibly but clearly expression wise, concede this. And he did when we were in Gilmore's, he wasn't informed who Karzi was. So he does understand that this is an influential person. So he definitely doesn't respond, but if Ember's paying attention, he can probably tell that Zarvolg has accepted his point.
Let me get you some sausage and eggs.
Perfect.
Okay. You all have your sausage and eggs, little breakfast. The morning greets you. Yes, Yvaine?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is Cressida around?
Cressida is indeed around this morning. Do you want to talk to her? Or?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't make that clear. No, I 100% want to talk to her. And in fact, I will probably either pull her aside out of hearing or upstairs if need be.
Yeah, she'll happily follow you upstairs. And she will say, "Good morning."
Good morning.
Making friends.
I am going to investigate the possibility of an unseen city underneath Emon. An unseeable city. Unseeable because mortal eyes, when they gaze upon the alien architecture, they go mad. Now, the irony of this, Cressida, is that the scroll I've been carrying... Did I ever tell you about that? No, I didn't. Remember when I told you there was a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't tell you about that was actually in the debrief? We never got around to talking about any of that. So one of the things is that I was carried, I'll give her the quick debrief on the astral scroll.
Right.
So when you told me to ingratiate myself to Auora, I handed her this arcane relic of phenomenal cosmic power, thinking that should cement relations. I miscalculated. That was my miscalculation. I assume once she figures it all out, she'll think, oh, yeah, I really like her. And it will get to the ingratiating part. But I think maybe I overwhelmed her, maybe overplayed my hand at the beginning there.
You are currently employed by probably the most valuable adventuring party patron in all Tal'Dorei. Count your victories, girl. You're doing quite well. You're right, she's probably just taking a moment. You know, these wizarding types, they like to, us bookish types, we like to do our research before we make too many assumptions.
Cool. Because I was really worried about that. And I wanted to surprise you. And it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to. So that has nothing to do with what this is. I saw you talking to the clasp at the shindig, yeah?
Yes.
Did I note that? All right.
No, it seemed like a good opportunity considering spiraling Zalal was there.
All right. So here's a quick synopsis of information that somebody who was in the room at all three places would know. The clasp and Stillman just came into a residual mine worth about, depending on what they sell it for, 5 to 10,000 gold. Also, the myriad in in Stillman took a hell of a beating. I know, I dished it out. We did. Also, in Western, the myriad took a hell of a beating. We didn't actually dish it out. Jewel of Twilight did that, but whatever. And the clasp came into about 10,000 gold. Now, what this means is that in both places the myriad is diminished and the clasp has an influx of money. If you consider the geography, what the myriad almost has to do is pull people from Drina into both Stillman and into Western, right? Basic chess. Which means if the clasp was able to coordinate an attack, they could probably knock out the myriad for 2 or 3 years. It's up to you if you want to put this information forward. I don't know if they've put it together yet.
I will
But there's
report
one
it.
coming.
Yes, I will report it to the Cobalt Soul. However, it is not usually our prerogative to get involved in gang violence, but the clasp has been a major benefit to the Tal'Dorei Council. So their benefit would be our benefit. I'm sorry, I need a minute. I'll be right back.
Yeah. She can do that whatever she wants to. But I'm tired of sitting on that piece of information.
I suggest cushions. Way more comfortable.
I know, right?
Maybe a spell for a floating frisbee.
Maybe
Should be able to fit you.
maybe a prickly pear.
I have a question. How much does that spell for a floating frisbee cost? Like, or how much does it hold? How much does it hold? Weight-wise.
500 pounds, I think.
He pulls out his book and double checks as I pull up the spell. I think it was either 500 or 300. Let me verify.
So if I jumped on Glint's back like a parachute and Glint jumped off something, he could cast floating disc and everybody else would go down. I've got the pauldrons of Featherfall, so we'd just float down.
Well, the floating disc, so it does hold 500 pounds. Now its big thing is it doesn't it can't move up. And it has to be, I believe, above the ground whenever you summon it, about 3 feet. So it's purely for like carting around things, or sometimes if you want to be silly, you can have someone sit on it and they'll just trail after you. But it doesn't do aerial maneuvers too well, unfortunately.
Apparently, Ryan's exploded.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I am seeing. Sorry. Right, so Ryan has to jet. It's apparently ending off with Yvaine trying to tell Cressida, no. This is for you to use how you see fit. You want to report it, you want to use it. Just remember, we needed them once. We need them again. So, and then afterwards, I guess we're going to go under the city.
yeah.
So,
Glint's in the middle of the wizard curse because he spent 4 hours scribing spells last night, and he's going to spend another 6 today as we get set to scribe the water breathing ritual.
oh, so we're all a little groggy.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
That's okay. I have coffee. I'm bringing it with.
Excellent.
It's all good.
All right, guys. Well, I will see you next week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.